Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't see nothing. Everything is black.
And we are live. Hi, guys. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, I had a really active weekend, so I'm not going to complain at all.
Very cool.
Oh, hey,
You guys caught me in the middle of setting up my camera.
my buddy Glenn, who works with me for Dale Dye, he just finished his work on a book, and now it's my turn because once he's done, I'm doing the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. He might be joining us. Oh, yeah, I think he's joining us. And I sent an invite to Mike too. I want to get as many artists as we know, Joe.
Yeah.
Join me on this.
I already covered Mike, Gary.
Oh, that's
And he said,
well. He was talking to me this morning, so I invited him too.
well, he has a meeting, but after that, he's going to join.
Yeah, that's what he told me. So now we know Mike is telling the truth and not just Josh.
Oh, he may be telling the same lie.
Same lie, you think? I know that, like, I when I was living in an apartment with Zoe's mother,
Mm-hmm.
and the landlord would call me or talk to me, and I would tell him what's going on. I'd just tell him, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, we're going to be late. Whatever fee you need to charge, go ahead. But he ended up really hating us because my wife would lie to him, but she wouldn't tell me she lied to him.
Oh man.
And so I confronted her one day. I'm like, what did you tell our landlord? He was a young guy, really nice guy. And he would come by and we'd talk. And his favorite thing was to refurbish old motorcycles,
Mm-hmm.
like first generation motorcycles. And, I'd go out there and I'd help him, how to clean off, get all that paint and stuff off there without, huffing, chemicals.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he ended up doing what I said, getting a sandblaster.
Mm.
I said you get a texture and you can get in there and buff that texture right out, and that'll take that paint right off, man,
Oh yeah.
without a huge amount of labor. There you go, Mike. We were just
What's up,
talking
Mike?
about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So during the next few weeks, we're going to be doing a drink and draw show. I think this is wonderful. Get some of my artist friends to come in here and suffer with me and draw and draw.
Yep.
And and I joke about it all the time, but the fact is, drawing for 40 years has done damage to me that you don't think about when you're younger, because
No.
you're indestructible. And I can't draw the way I used to. I have to have, like, where my camera is mounted right now, it's on top of my tablet.
Ooh, that reminds me. I just saw your hand. I got to go get my glove. I'll be right
Oh
back.
yeah,
Guys.
I got to use it too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'll be right back.
Because I'm telling you, man, you don't want to look at your screen if you forgot to put the glove on after you've been drawing. It just looks like a child or a monkey has been manhandling your screen. And it does. It picks up all that oil from your skin, even if you don't, not even aware. It's like, my hands are dry. No, they're not. No, they're not. You will find little handprints everywhere all over your screen. So these things are great, and they're not that expensive. This came with my tablet, but I have backups. I think I spent about $8 to get 2 additional backups, $4 each. And while we're sitting here, I can create a new logo for the upper right corner called Drink and Draw.
Oh,
I like
that'd be
that.
very nice. A new logo, a new thumbnail.
So I finished 2 pages last night. Originally, it was 1 page, and then I had to draw a new panel for the 1 page, and then I drew a second page in order to finish part of that story arc where you're introduced to Frank Tedesco, which is in my book is played by Shane Moore. Hi, Glenn. He's a gray nipple today.
You okay?
Wow, a Brit wearing a New York City hat. Look at
Of
you.
course, yeah. Best place on earth apart from where I live.
Glenn Fleming, by the way, good mate of mine. He and I worked together for Dale Dye. And you can put that now on your little thing. Works for Dale Dye.
I can,
Or
yeah.
works for and Warriors Inc. Really.
Yep.
Even though the person both of us have direct contact with for management and editorial shit really is Julia. She runs that ship and does a fantastic job. So when people go, you're a sexist, I'm like, my boss is a strong woman. And I consider one of the most fair bosses I've ever had. She can absolutely, she does it in a fun way. Tear me a new asshole when I fuck up.
Mhm.
Like, I swear to God, Glenn, I try my best to read her emails when she sends them to me. But Yahoo has this weird way of stacking now when I check my emails. And they put them in groups,
yeah, AOL does that now too. Or no, it's not AOL. My iPhone email app does that too. Yeah, it'll have.
It aggravates the shit out of me because I will miss. She will go down a little further and add additional notes, and I will miss these fucking notes, and I'll just fucking go do something for her, and then she'll go, "Did you not read my fucking notes?" And I'm like, I got your email. I read your, and she's like, I told you blah 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 blah. And I'm like, give me a second. I open up and then I go down a little further.
Welcome to Boomercast.
It is. I feel so old. I'm used to email being delivered like it was in the old days.
Right.
By Wells
it's
Fargo.
got different sections. You got a primary section, you got transactions, promotions. It's retail.
Just to show you, go try to get my name or anything. I don't know why, but Gary Cassell, because I'm a rare name, the way I spell it. It's like when I get to a state, when I was younger, moving to a new state, like in the military and shit like that, I would look to see if there are any Cassells in near me. Hardly ever to never. And I've got such a bizarre last name, and then I add a bizarre first name. And so I've had my Yahoo account since Yahoo launched, Gary Cassell at yahoo.com. And
I'm so old, I've got an AOL email address. Okay.
Also, I have Rep Detect at yahoo.com. I did that back when they launched Yahoo for doing the Blade Runner stuff.
Well, I'm so old, I can remember sending faxes.
I do too.
Please do not remind me of that.
Fax is still used, by the way. If you have to physically sign a document, they still use it.
Well, I got to tell you, man, you just sit there and wondering, did they get my fax? You panic over it because you don't get a notification like you do with email.
Yeah.
Okay, so this video is for everybody, represents everybody in this panel except for Anima.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Man, dude, yeah.
Listen, I'm that old. I remember and still use pencils and paper.
Yeah, I do too.
You know,
I have those fully digital now.
You see, I can never work out why people work on digital at all because I can sell my artwork as an original. You don't have an original. I can't work out why people can't work that out.
Hey man,
don't even care. It's really what it falls down to.
I tell you, and if
the other night Anima saw me delete my pencils, I just delete them. I don't keep them. I don't need them.
If it wasn't for digital, I wouldn't even be trying to do a comic book because I'm so confident in my pencils that if I tried to put ink on it and I screwed it up, I would just be destroyed. You know, I'm just not that.
Well,
I'm not that good at inks. I've never done it. You know,
Well-
I've done everything in pencil my whole life. So
well, get
I take
somebody who
photographs
is.
of the pencil work and put it on the iPad, and I do the digital work over it. So
Tell me this. I said this on another podcast a few months ago.
Mhm.
I won't name names. This guy was saying that it's easier or quicker to use a computer to draw your comic than it is a pencil and paper. And he was undoing that line 50 times.
Right.
And I said, how is undoing that line 50 times when I get it right first time? How is that quicker?
It's really math. It's just a math one because I've proved it with me. I can draw an entire comic page digitally in less time than it took me when I was doing it on paper. And I mean,
how
it can
is
still,
that so?
depending on
Because
the
it's only you only use a pen on a screen. It's just only like a pencil on a piece of paper. Why is it?
No. I also have my pencil.
His pencils are done on digital too.
Yeah, but
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Pencil. Here you go. Because occasionally, if I'm not near my computer, I always keep a stack of paper around me. So if I'm off doing something else, I'll grab some of that paper and I will pencil on paper, and then I will scan it in later. And I'm going to give you an example because let me switch over here, camera setting, because even Graham Nolan listened to me on this because I started talking about inking in particular, because pencils I can do on paper or digital. It doesn't matter to me. And I'm not worried about selling the art later because I just don't care to do that. I've never done that. I've had pencils for years that I just don't know what to do with, and I'm not going to offer them to sell. I don't know why my brain doesn't even consider it a value. But let me see. Camera switch to OBS. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, but you need to go to a different setup.
Yeah. Don't worry. I've got it set up. There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to address what Mephisto said here because I thought it was funny. I can remember sending a telegraph message to the three amigos to come over and put on a show with the infamous El Guapo. Anybody who's a fan of that movie gets that.
Yeah.
And you
Thanks,
know, he's
Matt.
not only famous, he's infamous.
The infamous El Guapo.
Yeah. And I'll do pencils occasionally just so you can see I actually do know how to draw physically. And if people wonder if I can actually pencil, but I pencil roughs.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do too. Mm-hmm.
I don't do a lot of detail in my pencils. I get really where I'm wanting to go in the pencils, and then I do cleanup in my inks. And I still spend less time drawing because that's why I do it, Glenn, is to save myself time. Because what used to take me, and I'm serious, a comic page could, one single, because I'm so focused on trying to be realistic that I can spend up to 20 hours on a single page of comic art. And since I started drawing digitally, though I still look, you can see I penciled some of the pages in this book. And all I do is I have typing paper or printing paper. You know the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not the smooth stock, but it's got a surface very similar to illustration board. I use cold press vellum surface. And what do you use, guys, for drawing on? What kind of paper do you guys draw on?
I've got cardstock. I've got comic cardstock. Hang on.
Oh, you buy this one made for comics. What about you, Glenn? What do you work on?
It depends. I use cartridge paper. I use artboard. Depends what I'm doing, but I use typing paper for two roughs on. I use all kinds of things. I just don't use a computer. I have used a computer, and obviously it's fantastic, but I just prefer to use the classical way of doing it.
I love your accent, by the way. Where are you from?
It's the only one I've got. I'm
I
from
use the Blue Line cardstock.
Yes, yeah, I get that. Yep,
Mhm.
I've had that too. Where are you from?
Manchester, northwest England.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it. Okay. So, where did you grow up in Manchester, or
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah,
oh, you still live there in Manchester?
yeah. My parents are from a place called Sheffield, which is about 50 miles east of me, southeast. But I've lived here all my life. Yeah.
That's fantastic, dude. And again, I want to point out that Glenn and I work together now. We work for Warriors Inc., Warriors Publishing. It's all one company.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure they don't file that way. I'm sure
I'll
they
have to
keep
now.
separate corporate entities for each division. So if one takes a loss, they can, use that as a loss on their taxes at the end of
Right.
the year. But I'm hoping that our taxes are going to change now because
He's
it's
talking
really
about
fucked up.
anybody under 150,000 doesn't pay.
No taxes,
Yeah,
which
that's
I've been under that for. Well, I've been under that my whole career.
my whole life. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
because
say.
the most I've made was when I worked for iFleet International and when I was their artist. And I miss the days when I could get hired as an artist and actually work in an office and have my drawing equipment there. Big old drawing table, stacks of paper, my
Yeah.
computer.
There's my drawing table.
I haven't had one in so long, dude. Oh, look at that. I can't work at one anymore.
I've been using that for 35 years.
Mine's right behind me.
Hey, Glenn, you have a question here from United.
Well, I could tell you the story, but you probably won't get it because you probably won't know the players. But I'm actually an Everton fan. But from United and City, it would be City every time.
Okay,
Manchester,
there you have
There
it.
City.
you go. There you
That's
go.
fantastic, dude.
Yeah, I'm just playing a time lapse video of some of the work I've done on Procreate. So that's the one cool thing about Procreate. I don't know if your program does that, but it records everything I do, so I can play it back whenever I want to.
Oh wow, that's a great idea, isn't it? I like that idea. That's brilliant.
I'm just now learning it, Glenn. My daughter dragged me kicking and screaming into the 21st century because I was like you for a long time, didn't use digital at all. But my main thing I do for commissions is pencil sketch portraits. I do them for $75 a face, and I go out to retail markets and stuff and put up my stuff and hand out cards for commissions. I always do big right around Christmas time. These guys will tell you I'm hardly available for anything because I'm always doing commissions around the holidays.
That's good. Great. Yeah.
So here's 2 pages I finished last night. This is Frank Tedesco showing up at the reservation police department. The tribal police.
Look out.
Living on the res.
The res.
And of course, Frank Tedesco is physically based on my buddy Shane Moore, who is a retired police detective, former military. He played pro to semi-pro football. He's a coach now, and he's retired from everything else. And he's just one of the dearest people. He popped in the chat the other day.
Yeah.
Remember that, guys? It was really wonderful that he just popped into the chat. I didn't know he was going to do that. And he is he and 2 of the writers were the ones who tried to write Vindicated the first time. And this is what caused everything to blow up the first time, because I got the scripts back and they were all wrong. And I kept trying to get them to write different. Wow, you were flickering for a second there.
It's a video. It's a video. It's.
I want to bring you guys up, so let me try something here. Let me do where's the edit on this thing? Because
it's the bottom of the screen. It looks like a pencil, buddy.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think I'm gonna have to go to a different one.
But yeah, if it looks like it's flickering, it's because I'm changing between slides on the video. It like I said, it's a time lapse.
Oh yeah, it's flickering. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. That's just how many times I turned off layers and turned them back on when I was drawing. Yeah.
Okay, I see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just treat the computer like I'm drawing on paper. And what's funny, Glenn, you're gonna laugh at this. I will do this. I will be sitting there drawing, and then I'll go, damn it, I don't like something. And I go, and my old pen, actually, you would flip it over to the back of the pen, and that was the digital eraser. And I would erase with that, and I was using a tablet that was on the desktop flat. And I'm looking up at the computer because I can do that, separate my hand from my brain that way, to where I can draw on a screen, but I'm drawing on a tablet down below. Does that not sound bizarre?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I started drawing digitally. So I'm sitting there. My daughter is actually secretly watching me while I'm doing this. And I go to erase digitally. And then you can tell I'm an old school artist. I lifted my hand up and I went to brush the erasure off of the
right.
And then I realized in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're drawing digitally. And then I went, oh God, I hope she's not. And I looked over, my daughter's got the biggest shit-eating grin. I'm like, oh, you saw that. And she's like,
you see,
why did you do that?
That's the kind of animal we are, because I remember back in 1972 when Apollo 17 crew were on the moon, Gene Cernan picked up a rock and tried to blow the dust off it.
Yeah.
Because he told you what he laughed, and he told you what he'd done. And it always amuses me when people take their work to the marketplace, and that's become anywhere you put your work now, rather than the actual marketplace. But we still use the same terminology.
Right.
It's just
that's funny, dude. I didn't know that story about Gene Cernan. That's crazy.
Yeah. I interviewed him back in 1992. I wrote an article for Spaceflight magazine about the last man on the moon.
And I want to point out that you are an author as well.
Yeah.
And
12 books.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is you got to meet and interview and did a great, and I got to see that, and I'm so grateful I got to see that. And I'm afraid I lost it in my separation with Deanna, because I can't find it. Because I wanted to invite you on and then show it on the channel, and I couldn't find my copy of it. And I'm so pissed because I lost so many things. Like, I have photos for 100 years that I don't have anymore because it's somewhere in storage, and I don't know where. And I've asked where it's at, because after the fire, you remember my studio burned down, right?
Yeah, you said, yeah.
Yeah, and I lost that computer. I lost a lot of art was destroyed. And you know what? It wasn't the fire itself that destroyed my stuff. Do you know what destroyed my stuff? Not even the smoke. The chemicals they use to put out the fire.
Wow.
Oh,
so
that's gotta suck.
Oh, dude, I did not think my computer survived, and I have so much artwork stored on my computer. And I was like fretting over it. And I know Anima remembers when I was fretting over it.
I hope you got that stuff backed up too, buddy.
Well, Lawrence, yeah, it's up on the cloud. Lawrence, a friend of mine here in Missouri, actually just moved. He's down in Texas now. But he just, out of the blue, just called me the other night, and he says, hey, man, I know there's been a lot of storms. Just want to check to make sure you guys are okay. And I'm like, yeah, all of us were fine. Thank you. But anyway, they destroyed my studio. So what wasn't destroyed by fire and smoke, and when I'm talking smoke, it was black soot, like a tar, and it got into everything. And then the right side that faced the front of the house, that was just simply damaged by the chemicals in the water that they used to put out the fire. It's some sort of retardant, and it's tacky, and you're not supposed to In other words, I had to go in with a military gas mask to go back in there to retrieve my computer. And they told me not to handle it with my bare hands.
Wow.
And once I got the computer back, I just got the hard drive out of it, and I just threw that tower and all that, the motherboard and all of it away. It was useless. And then I drove the 50 miles to Lawrence's house. And I looked at him, I said, "It's in your hands now, man. I pray you can actually save my hard drive." And I got a call in, I guess, 2.5 days. And he let me know, yeah. I looked on here. I was able to get into all partitions, and this was not damaged at all. The inside of the hard drive was not damaged by the chemicals. And I think that was the greatest day I've ever experienced since having. Because children's like, oh, my kids are the miracle of having my kids always is on the top of my list of good shit. But anyway,
that was close.
Saving all your artwork's got to be high up there, man.
I'm telling you, because that was years of work.
Yeah.
So this, he's in there flirting, and then we get down to here where he walks out all full of himself, then he stops and he's got that look of like, what in the fuck is this? And then he turns and he sees two of the reservation cops like laughing and saying, "Hey man, just thought you might want a snack," and then we see what he was looking at here. They left an apple on top of his car, an eaten apple, by the way. And that look, and he says an apple. And what that means in res talk is red on the outside, white on the inside. These are American Indians who have, because that's what he's gone through. He has eventually, in real life, Shane has turned to his tribal roots.
Yeah.
But there's the white side of him still in there. So he knows what I'm talking about when I wrote this. And and he thought it's a really good way to show some of the hatred and racist stuff that goes on within the res.
Yeah.
If you like white man shit and work in the white man world, you get called an apple a lot of the time. And it's really like, it's meant to tear you down. Yeah, and that's a fake license I made.
Gary, is there any chance you could switch back to the other screen so we could see your stuff big size?
Well, I kind of wanted your guys' stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah. But,
Yeah, I can switch back, man.
Yeah. I want to see your stuff, dude.
So here you go. And I actually double checked on the lingo because I know military radio jargon. I'm not sure about police. So I went and I did just some quick cursory research. And I'm pretty much 80% sure I got this right. Dispatch, this is 1 David 12. Go ahead, 1 David 12. Put me as clear of 921 and en route back to station. Copy, David 12. I don't know if they would do more than copy 1 David 12, or if they would also include repeating what he said. I don't know. So I'm going to probably throw this at my buddy who's a retired cop and ask him.
Right.
And he'll, before it goes out. And then, of course, you got the sign showing he's left the reservation heading back to King County. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The reservation where he's at, there is no land bridge like this. It doesn't exist. I did it because it's one of the things I loved about driving around Washington when I lived there was going across land bridges. There's nothing, it makes you feel like even in your car, you're part of nature. It's bizarre. And I used to go to Camino Island all the time, and I showed it to Anima last night. Camino Island is an island up in the, what do you call it? The Puget Sound. And part of the year, it is attached to the land by a land bridge, which is now they finally actually put up some proper concrete and shit, and they built a proper bridge. I guess it stays attached all year long, even when the water goes up. But it's really fascinating place, and I used to love going there. And I've never in my life seen trees so tall as what you see there in the I just forgot the name of the area. The oh my God, I'm getting old.
Yes.
The name of the forest there outside of Redmond and driving up north. just short of hitting Canada. And just beautiful country, and the trees are so tall. And you just feel like when you're driving in a forest. You don't really feel like you're on a 2 or 4 lane highway. You feel like you're in a forest. And it's so green. Other than Ireland, I've never seen a place more green than the forests there on the coast of Oregon, North Oregon, and Washington. And while I was living there, there was this soot on the ground, and in some places you'd be driving along the loop, the beltway around Seattle. 410, I think it was. I can't remember the name of the highway right now. That one or the Alaskan Highway. And the Alaskan Highway, you would drive on the outside of Seattle because it's right on the coastline. And you would look over on the sides of the road. It looked like snow in the middle of summer. And what that was leftover ash from Mount St. Helen. And it was trippy to find it all over the place there still. Because that happened when I was in high school. And there I was in the military and a paramedic up there in Washington. And I just couldn't believe there was still, like snow on the sides of the highway. And it was thick. And when you went up to it, it was hard. Because it had been rained on and it became almost like a concrete. You can break it apart with your hand, but it just really, the texture kind of reminded me of concrete. It was trippy. So I drew this picture of my buddy Shane last night. And so that's the panel there. And then that panel. And again, this panel is a work of fiction. There is no land bridge with water on both sides. I still have to do the water on here. And that's boring. So I'm not going to do that today.
Look, some people don't understand the kind of boring stuff you have to work on when you're drawing these panels, man. That it is work because you want to draw the stuff you're excited about, but there is the mundane stuff that you have to deal with,
Yeah, my favorite thing to draw is faces.
Yeah, me too.
It's always been that way. And anything else, I want to cut corners as much as I can because it's just like waste. Now, I'm going to show you panels that have never been seen before. I'm not going to allow the words on them because I don't want to give up the story.
Of course not.
So I'll open these pages up, and so these are all never before seen.
That's Keith.
Yeah, Keith is in the book. Now, I didn't get permission from him, but I did get permission from this actor.
Will Smith.
No. But it does kind of look. He
does look like him now that you say it. Yeah. If it was a little bit longer a face, maybe. Yeah.
Because this is Lawrence Fishburne's son.
Okay.
He's a dancer, a ballet dancer, and he did a film that I worked on. I did the artwork for, and we became very friendly. And I really liked the guy. And I asked permission to put his face in the book. He's like, yeah, man, go right ahead. So I always get him to sign a document for legal reasons. And
that older guy with him there, the side view looks like the guy off Different Strokes.
As he got older, he does kind of look like him sometimes. But I was trying to do a kind of a version, an old man version of the guy that played Dick in RoboCop. Because that's who I saw in my head as the one of the villains in the story. He's a business magnate he's based on a person I know. He passed away, but I never liked the guy because he was a very corporate kind of guy. And he wanted to put his name on everything he built. Everything. And so I make fun of it in the book because everything that he builds has his name on it, including the apartments that John lives in. It's called Hammond Towers. And I changed his name slightly so the family won't get offended by what I did. There you go. And I like this repetitious stuff because I'm drawing a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that I'm sure you felt this way too when you started watching those MCU movies and the DC movies. Why don't you just use the friggin' comics as storyboards and shoot the damn movie? What's wrong?
Well, that's how he did 300.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I think about these crappy Fantastic Four films they keep making. Just get Jack Kirby's artwork for the first
right. Use
Jack
that
Kirby's
and go
for the first 100 issues of Fantastic Four, and you've got the best films ever made.
Right. Yeah.
Too bad we don't have people that look like Jack Kirby. People. There was one.
There's an actor over here looks just like a young Jack Kirby. I want him in my film.
Are you capable of making that available, by the way, your DVD?
My Kirby DVD?
Yeah, because I love that little documentary you made.
I'm not sure how to do it, to tell you the truth.
Well,
I suppose I could.
If you've got if you don't have a digital copy, you can get a digital copy by just putting it in your computer if you got one that can play DVDs, and copy your own DVD, and then you have a high-res copy of the movie again, in at least 1080p, and then you can make it available, create a website and create your own channel, and I know that Keith, all of us here, will support you, man, because everybody should see that documentary. It's him in his last days, man. Jack Kirby's last days. He was old, and you got to spend time with him. What, a week? Is that it?
I got to spend a total of probably around 12 hours with him.
Oh my God! If that was longer than that, with everything you got in there.
No.
So you planned your conversations out with him.
The thing is, you see, is that the first time I went, the video camera didn't work. And then the second time I went, it did work, but I sort of have too much respect. And when the first film cassette ran out, that was it. And I should have taken 6 more because he would have spoken to me all day. But I had a bit more respect because I thought, well, he's not been well. He's 74, and I didn't want to, push it.
Jack Kirby, getting to sit down with him. That must have been
come
true, man. Yeah.
I had lunch with him twice in his home. Then we talked for hours because on the film, we start off we just had lunch and we're going in. I say, let's go in the studio, and we go in the studio. And then when the film runs out, I spoke to him for another 3 hours after that. Like I say, nice. if I'd have been a bit more disrespectful, I'd have taken more film, but that's not the way I am. I thought he's putting up with me for the second time. I don't want to push him, I don't want to get standing on anybody's toes, but I sort of wish I had now, but I'm glad I didn't. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yep.
Because he really, I can't tell you, it's a couple of the best hours of my life. It was absolutely amazing.
You just did something interesting, Glenn.
What was that?
Well, I went to a specialized training on how to properly talk to people and create a good rapport. And one of the first things they teach you is to end, after you make a statement of any kind, ask, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you do by doing that is you engage the person to really respond to you, not just sit there and listen to you, but to actually respond to you and actually talk to you about what it is you're talking about. Yeah. And it's what I used going into doing interviews and with celebrities. And it's really funny because the other specialized training I had was talking to people who are mentally not all there. And so we had specialized training on how to talk to people who might be a little off or crazy. Mm-hmm. And I love that inks on that, dude. That looks good.
Yeah. It was my, this was one of my I want to say passion projects for life. Really, this is a family portrait of me, Rhonda, and the kids, and that's her in the top hat. That's actually Rhonda over there. Of course, the detail's not good. It's a replay, but hang on, let me get the actual picture up here for you guys. Yeah, here you go. That's Rhonda. That's my favorite picture of Rhonda. Actually, she took a picture with our niece Chelsea, and I love the picture, so I used that for the fox face. That's her son, the American fox. He's an Iraq War veteran, so he's got his 9mm, and of course he's a fox. He's got the fox ears and everything, but he's Scottish, so he's got a red beard and all that stuff. So, and then my fiery Irish daughter, who today is her 34th birthday. I'm sure she doesn't want me to out her like that, but she's the one that taught me how to use this thing. Anyway, she's the fiery chick. So, yeah.
There's this actor. I'm trying to find him. Oh, I know what movie to find him. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
There was a movie called Killdozer. Let's see if I can find that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of his name right now. 1974.
But that's the actual pencil drawing that I did. That's hanging in my house. It's great. Just a photograph that I put on there. You know,
there he is, right there,
okay.
Glenn. That guy looks like he was created by Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
he does.
Wasn't he in The Untouchables? Bob Stack in the 50s.
The TV series. He did. He played a gangster.
Yeah. Did he play?
He's a gunner.
It wasn't Frank Nitti he played. It was the other guy, wasn't it?
It was the other guy, Dutch Schultz, I think is who he played. I can check, but this is Neville Brand, one of the highest decorated soldiers of World War II. Audie Murphy, I think, got the highest decoration for an actor. But this guy was just a gutsy warrior and served in 2 theaters of combat in World War II, and just love this guy as an actor. One of his last films was a horror film, a slasher film, and I think it was called Gator Bait. It was based on the true story of this guy that would rent rooms and then kill the tenants to rob them and feed them to his gators.
Wow.
He had a gator for him. Yeah, and so I'm going to hit this real quick here.
Now, you do yours completely in black and white, right? You don't do any colors with your stuff.
I do colors because I am a colorist. That's
okay.
Predominantly what I did for IDW is, other than some of the original art I did for them, I was one of their workhorse colorists, and I would color a lot of their books. And I didn't know, because I know I can actually color with paint. I've done that.
Yeah.
And but once the world went digital, I saw it coming back in the 90s. I'm like, I better learn how to do this shit. And so I learned to color digitally, and the tools have gotten better and better on there. But I love coloring. I don't Vindicated. There are colored pages. No one will ever see them because I felt it lost something. And this is something Anima has talked about with it, is that it looks better in black and white. It's a very noir kind of story. Black and white works. So let's see. Let's see if I can find all of his movies here.
This is what This is what I use to color.
Yeah, see, that's what I used to use. I used washes.
Okay.
That you would go to the art store and you would look for watercolor washes.
Yeah.
And they come in liquid form already, and you just go with it. It's painting with watercolors, and you got to use the same technique with watercolor, which is difficult for people to learn because I was an acrylic artist. So you work from dark to light. When you're painting, you put down your dark foundation and build. Whereas with watercolor or washes used for comics, you got to do it differently. You start with your lights and work to your darks, building up that way. It's exactly the reverse. And I'm assuming that's what you do, Glenn, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different discipline. It depends on what you're using. It's like everything else.
It's a different part of the brain.
Yeah.
Because, I'm telling you, man, I'm versatile in both, but I prefer the acrylic way over working with watercolor washes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd like to start with my darks and build.
I did some paints in oils as well.
Check the private chat, please.
Oh, hold on. My messenger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
You don't want to do that live, do you?
Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I get distracted like this. And so I did want to point out, I want to see if I can find that movie. Evils of Night, was that it?
You can tell this guy is such a movie buff, man. Half the people in his comic books look like actors.
Warning.
So great.
Where is that damn movie?
I don't know, bro. Where is
there
that
it is.
movie?
Here it is. Eaten Alive. It's based off of a real case, and they absolutely made it horror fiction. And Neville Brand plays this gator farmer who likes to lure people. And there's look at who that is.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I also noticed Carolyn Jones was there as well, Morticia.
Yes, that's right.
Boy, his life changed after that.
Mel fucking Ferrer, one of the last films. Stuart Whitman's in it. These are big actors, TV and film. And
yeah, Robert Englund. First time I saw him was in V.
Yeah.
I
think that was the first time I noticed him, of course, because he was the likable alien.
Yeah. I think that was the first time anybody saw him apart from his mother and father.
So I will tell you that this is Rollins and this is Hammond. And Hammond is a billionaire that lives in Seattle. And he built this tower for it's a home for veterans that are at the VA, so that while they continue their treatments, they can have a place to live. And so he's what do they call that? I forget what the philanthropist. But he is involved with some dark, shady shit. And there is a history between our protagonist and this gentleman, who's one of our other main antagonists, Rollins. And I used to spell it A-W, but I love Henry Rollins. And so I changed his last name from Rollins with a W, A-W, to R-O-L-L-I-N-S. And he's like Sting. He only has one name, Rollins. You never learn what his first name is. Never cared to. I created this character in 84, 85. And he's just a character I always like. And this is a kind of a cool scene where, again, a couple of my actor buddies, that's Fahim, obviously, Bosley, and Nurse Kurt, and the young physical therapist that he will have feelings for. And that's the VA building there in Washington. Nobody's ever seen it. Simplified drawing of it, but yeah, that's what it is. And they're flirting while he's learning about his new leg. And he's, I'm not going to tell you much, but he's in the dumps. And trying to compensate from his depression. That, this is the new way it is. And he's got to learn to accept it or do something about it. And there, of course, is my buddy Keith in it as one of the interns that pushes the people around from one department to another. I got to fix that. I don't like that. The back of his head.
That's the best part.
It sticks out too far. So let me see if I can do something here. I'm going to put a layer over this. And now you'll get to see me do repair work on my own
See,
art.
by the time you've found that, created a layer and done all that, I would have just drawn that with a pencil and inked it in. It would have been done.
Yeah, but now I've caught something that I didn't notice before. And
Yeah, but
I got to
don't
go
forget,
back in.
it doesn't have
And
to
all
be
I would do now, see, you're talking to a guy who worked on paper too. I used to use whiteout to paint over lines that I later looked at and went, "Oh, I fucked that up real good." So I had to go back and do something.
I'm kind of Glenn, I'm kind of on Gary's side on this because, like I said, I would be scared to death to put inks on my pencils. I will continue to draw. When I plot the pages, it's going to be in pencil because I'm really used to that, and I'm just now learning the digital side of it.
I get that.
Yeah,
but
I'm just.
I even got Graham Nolan inking in digital.
Yeah, because you can't. You can always hit the back button if you make a mistake. That's That's my whole thing. I'm so scared to death that I'm going to screw up. But I guess I guess I could actually take my pencils, make a copy of it, and then draw over it with ink. I guess I could, but I don't know. This just seems a little bit easier to me.
Yeah. I just noticed I might not have to do that. Hold on a second. Control copy. Because sometimes I look at something and I'm trying to figure out what is it that I don't like. Let me lock this so I can still touch this other layer. That's what my problem is.
Okay.
That's the problem right there. Okay. It's his head. I had to move his head further forward. I got to move this part of his neck. Match.
Yeah, you're skewing that to make it line up. Yeah. See that I haven't learned how to do with this yet. I'm like I said, I'm just learning the digital medium. I just am.
So. Now his head looks right.
Yeah, now it looks right.
That's all it took. I'm glad that I didn't actually have to fix that.
Dude, sometimes it's that look, especially when you're doing portraits, it's all about the proportion of the features, right? A micro, just a little bit of a move can make such a difference. It's not even funny.
This is the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now it looks right. So
yep.
Let me down. There we go. Control save.
Just something was bugging you, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Something was bugging you.
It caught my eye and it bugged me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, there's a crowd that's supposed to be watching him. Look at all the detail in that crowd.
Can you zoom in on it? Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
They're just circle heads.
The thing. Things in the foreground and in the background. You really want the focus to be on the subject that you want people looking at, right? So you don't want to put that much detail in that stuff.
Well, some stuff doesn't require a lot of detail. So let me get back to, I think chapter 4. Is it chapter 4? Nope, that's done. This one's done. Okay, chapter 4 is done. Chapter 5.
Yeah, I don't know if they have folders on this. Like I said, I am just learning this thing. I really don't know. I'm probably not using half the stuff I could be using on this iPad. I just knew I didn't want to pay for Photoshop. I just knew I didn't want to do that. Because that's like what, $250 a year for the license for that? Something like that.
Oh, I got tired of it, dude. Man, I got to tell you, they screwed me over so bad because I spent years keeping up my paid account with them.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't own anything at the end of it.
Yeah.
You should at least own the version you started with.
Right.
And be able to affordably upgrade. No, it's not like that at all with them. And that hurt, man, financially. They're robbing artists left and right with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, I know I could have taken a class when I was in the apprenticeship program for Libby. I was taking classes at Bossier Parish Community College, and we did. They made me take some AutoCAD, but as an elective, I could have taken Photoshop. And I said, you know what? I don't want to go down that. I don't want to be chasing that monkey the rest of my life because I knew it cost money every year to use it. You didn't, and like you said, you don't own anything. And like I said, I would never be working on a comic book if my daughter hadn't introduced me to Procreate. And it's basically, it's a poor man's Photoshop. It's what it is.
I've heard the same thing about GIMP. Sorry, I was having problems with Photoshop. It wasn't working right.
You're good.
I had to restart it.
The only problem with Procreate, it's an Apple product. So, like right now, guys, I'm broadcasting this on my Twitch channel and then putting it through OBS to show you guys what I'm doing on my iPad. That's how I do it every week on my show. Because, my computer's it's not a Mac, so it's not compatible with this thing. So I can't just plug it in and show you guys what's on my iPad. I have to actually broadcast it on Twitch just to show you,
Now, I like to work in blue pencils. I used to have a blue pencil when I worked on paper. And now what I do when I actually pencil on paper is I just pull it into the computer and render it as blue.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does the same thing. And the shade of blue that I like to work with is really close, but it's not exact to what blue pencils are. This is the shade of blue I like to work with because I can drop the opacity down and still see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you guys see the pencils or not?
Yeah, we see the pencils just fine, buddy. Yeah, okay. We can tell the difference whenever you change the opacity to it. Yeah, we see it just fine. Yep.
All right. So this is where my pen tool comes in handy.
I decided I was not going to use blue pencil when I did it, though. I'm just so used to leaded pencons that I said, you know what?
No, I totally understand, dude.
I know it's unorthodox.
I understand why you do the way you do, and I appreciate the way you and Glenn do things because I get it.
Yeah.
But I would refer to Glenn as a jazz purist.
Hello.
And
I'm an amateur. I don't. You don't become a professional till your stuff is sold. You guys are pros. I am an amateur. I'm just getting started with this. The only thing I'm a pro at, I get paid to do pencil sketch portraits for people. Yes, I'm a pro at that. But this comic book stuff, brand new to me.
I've stopped doing that. I just can't do it anymore.
What, doing commissions for people?
Yeah, just I've got.
I mean, besides book covers and stuff, we know that. I mean,
yeah, it's just I've got one commission for a friend, Red Shirt, and I've got to get a hold of him so we can wrap this up because I owe him some artwork.
Yeah,
and I don't take the money from him until it's done.
Me either. I keep hearing people say, "Well, you need to take some money up front." I'm like, no. If they don't like,
I take 25% up front. That's all I ask for, 25%.
I don't take anything. I'm like, then you can give it to me when I'm done because I know they're going to like it. I know they are.
Well, the 25% is usually about a few dollars that'll get me a soda pop and a sandwich,
right?
While I work, and that's all it's for. Is to. So I'm going to focus here for a second, so you're going to hear me get quiet. In other words, you won't hear me.
Do it.
You guys take over.
I do pencil portraits for the 9th Parachute Battalion. My dad was a paratrooper on D-Day.
Right.
And I've done a lot of pencil drawings of his colleagues for people in that group.
How long does it take you to do a face, Glenn? Just out of curiosity. Takes me about 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to say it might take me a morning if I stretch it. If I'm not, if I'm not happy with it.
I just went up on my prices, though. I tell you, everybody's always told me I don't charge enough for my stuff. I've been charging $50 for years per face, and I just went up to $75 per face.
Well, I think you should do more because I do a couple of £100.
Do you? Yeah. See, people always tell me that I'm not charging enough for it.
Well, you're like me then because you think that's far too much. Why would anybody want to pay that? And they've asked you to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just happy just to see that somebody wants it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we always undercut. I'll tell you the worst thing is I've done portraits before, and somebody says to me, would you draw me this person? And I say, yeah. And they say, how much do you want? And you say, I want 250 quid. And they go, okay. And you think, oh, I should have asked for 400.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he said yes to that too quickly.
Too quick.
But I'm scared. I'm scared that if I say 400, they'll say, get out of here, you know, because
get out of here. I don't need you.
Because I like drawing, so I want to do it as well, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that's something a lot of people don't understand is actually enjoying what you do.
Yeah. Well, let me show you something here that I drew a while back. This is my character Hatch, right? And he lives on his own.
Again,
put it back up for a second. Just don't flash it at him, Glenn.
Okay.
Show it to him. There you go. That's cool.
I fucking love that, dude.
That's badass.
So he lives on his own on a little asteroid, and this is a photograph. I didn't have a scanner at the time, so this is a bad photograph of pencil work. There's a pyramid appears.
Okay.
Right. So that's a bad photograph. So then I inked it. And you know, there's 2.5 million blocks of stone in that big pyramid. Well, I've drawn them all.
Oh my gosh, man.
How
long did that take you? Good Lord.
I don't know. It only takes me a couple of hours. And then I colored it with colored ink.
Oh man. Look at that, Gear. That's crazy.
It's fucking beautiful, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. And there's another one. This particular illustration I'm showing you now is something like 25 by 18, 25 by 20 inches. It's quite big.
That is so beautiful.
That is great, dude.
This is why I love you, Glenn, because when I found out you were an artist, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. The first thing I saw was the paratrooper World War II biography that you did for your dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, you are a great sketch artist.
Thank you. Do you want to see a real artist at work? This is my wife. She's a ceramics artist. She made this of Hatch, the character. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's badass, man.
That's about 8 inches high. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Did you measure it with your hand?
Say again?
Nothing.
God, Gary.
But the best thing is
at
that
least once a show, Gary's got to get weird. Yeah.
She did the tread on his shoes, which you can't see because he's standing on the plinth. So I put them on the back of the book.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, look at that.
I like it.
That's so neat.
So it's great, you know. I just like drawing though. I just love drawing.
Well, that's what we all grew up doing, right? I know me personally, when I guess I was 8 years old, I was drawing with crayons, and I did, we got National Geographics back then, and no prawn guys. It was a guy at a archaeological dig. He was bent over, and I just drew it with crayons.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I knew you are, sir. And then, she saw it and she said, oh my gosh, I got to get this kid in art classes because it looked like the photograph. And I did it with different colored crayons. And so she ends up sending me to a young lady named Virginia Cook. I say young. She was the mother of a guy I went to school with right here in the neighborhood. And I was painting stuff from Star Wars. I was a big airport fan, so it was a lot of pictures of the regional airport and planes flying. And my favorite landscapes to do were Arizona sunsets. My mom used to get that magazine all the time because I loved all the rich reds and kind of like the coloring you did on that pyramid. I love all the oranges and the yellows, those bright colors. And I was doing all that stuff. And I was in love with a chick on a TV show back then called Family. Her name was Christy McNichol. And
who didn't have a crush on her?
Right. I was so in love with her. Her and her brother were on the cover of Tiger Beat and all this other bullshit that the girls would buy. Right. And I did a portrait of her, my first portrait I ever did, and it looked like hot garbage. I could show it to you today. You guys would laugh. I mean, it was so bad. I drew it, I painted it, and it just looks horrible. It looks like Kristen McNichol got beat up by Rocky, is what it looks like. But she saw something in it, and at the age of 11, she sent me down to the Barnwell Arts Center, and I was in there every night with a little girl, little 5 foot tall Japanese lady named Susan Nemo. Taught me the ins and outs of drawing the human face. She would pay a homeless guy $20 to come and sit for us, and I was in there with a bunch of 25 and 30-year-olds learning how to draw faces at the age of 11, 12. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love doing it.
Yeah.
And what got me started was, like I said, playing with crayons and playing Dungeons and Dragons. I would sit there. My character in Dungeons and Dragons, his name was Flash, and he looked just like what's the actor's name that plays him in the movie, Gary? I can't remember his name.
Oh, I don't remember.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
But it looks like him holding the sword from the movie, right? That was my character sheet cover was for Dungeons and Dragons. And every time he had to be resurrected, I'd draw a scar on his face or on his body somewhere. Like, that was the mark that he had to be resurrected because he got killed. Because he was a chaotic good character and he had to run into everything that was evil and just attack it, right?
Chaotic good.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it, baby. If I saw evil, I went after it, But yeah, we all start doing it because we love it, man. It's just, that's our happy place. And I can tell you right now, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I've noticed it during streams when Gary's drawing. He sounds excited. About what he's doing. So
I said to you, I drew every one of the 2.5 million blocks in that pyramid. Well, I did it again from an aerial view. Do you want to see that?
Wow.
Oh, Martin, can you make it large? I'm drawing.
Hang on. He's going to do it. There you go.
Thank you.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Hand painted as well. All hand painted. Thank you. Well, hand painted.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I'll just show you this one, last one. Pencil drawing from the cover. Whoops. That one. See that?
Yeah, that's great.
Give me a second.
Yep.
You see all the working out and everything on it.
That's a sketch.
Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
And that became the cover. I just darkened it on the computer. And then
you can manipulate those things. That's what I do with my pencil sketches.
I also hand lettered the logo.
Yeah.
Because I do all hand lettering as well on my comics. I do the whole thing. I create it, I write it, I draw it, I ink it, I color it, and I letter it.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to lettering, I know for a fact I'm not going to do that. I'm going to type it out and put it in a script or something. Now the big letters, like your hatch there on the cover, I'll probably hand draw those. But when it comes to doing the script that goes with all of these panels, I mean, what font are you using when you do that, Gary? You using Comic Sans for that, or
what are we talking about? What are you
lettering?
font?
Lettering.
Oh no! I bought and I've been featured over on one of the comic book font websites as being one of the artists that uses this. I use a font called Dave Gibbons.
Okay.
The entire package cost at the time, I think, $200.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of it right here.
Okay, I got you.
And it follows the comic writing stylings of Dave Gibbons, the guy who did.
There's a clue there, isn't there? It's called Dave Gibbons.
Hello.
I don't know. Do people know who Dave Gibbons is?
I wouldn't. I mean,
he did Watchmen. He drew Watchmen.
He drew Watchmen. He also did Killer Joke, Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was Brian Bolland who did that.
Oh, was that Brian Bolland? Oh, anyway, Watchmen.
Let me show you some of my lettering from when I was 14 years old. And you'll see this is a comic I used to produce called The Black Diamond. Right. This is all done in biro and pencil, and coloured with felt tips. But look at this lettering. I was 14 when I did that lettering there. Look at that.
That's awesome, man. See that?
You know?
Oh,
And I was 15, and it's even got the water damage, which has made the colour go on the other side of the cover.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And look at this. Look at this. I discovered as well. I'd forgotten about this. Look at that lettering there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I was only 14. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, you should be, man.
I must say though, it hasn't improved much.
Well,
I just like doing it.
I know for a fact. Like, matter of fact, let me see this one right here. If you look at the Coast Guard cutter that I'm drawing here, look, I typed that in there. Anybody that watched me do this on the show, I typed that in there, you know, and then skewed it and everything to fit it.
Well, I could do that freehand.
Yeah. See, I couldn't. There's no way. I actually drew them, and as you see, I placed them in there. So yeah.
No, I don't like computer lettering either because I think it's too precise.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly the same.
And of course, it's not on the artwork. Like I keep saying, all my work is you get the whole thing. You get the lettering and pencils and inks to get the whole piece of board. You even get my DNA from my hands on the board.
There you go. There it is.
My hand's shaking.
I don't know that I'm ever gonna sell the originals of the sketches that I've done for this thing. I'd rather pass them down to my.
Well, I've got tons of artwork, literally tons of it, and I want to sell it all because I don't have any kids, so I've got nobody to leave it to. So I want the money. Give me the money.
I hear you. Hey, man. A lot of artists that their stuff isn't worth anything till they've gone. So, you know, hey.
Exactly. Well, fuck that. I want the money now.
Right.
Well,
I've got
anytime I've done commissions in the past, I've always tell them, I said, this will be worth a lot when I die.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give you an invitation to kill me.
Right.
Now you notice I've gone sideways. That's because it's easier to do curves with the natural movement of the wrist.
Yeah.
And so doing some of these curved lines, I have to turn the whole page sideways. And people are like, I'm sure like, why are you drawing sideways? I've always done this, even on paper.
Yeah.
When I'm working on certain things, man.
Yeah, I was just going to demonstrate for you. You know, when I'm working on this iPad, if I think that I need to do something different, I'll turn it sideways, this way, whatever I need to do to get the right curve going. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. It's the rotation of your wrist is what it is.
If you're at the wrong angle, this is what happens. It's just, your wrist doesn't work that way. So
yeah,
I end up having to image rotate clockwise 90 degrees. We'll do that. Now I'll do it again. Image rotate.
I can see why it's taking you 20 hours.
You're making Glenn's face for him, man.
Just draw the damn thing.
That's not true. You're exaggerating. It takes me half the time now.
No, you said it took 20 hours. I don't know it took 20 hours.
That's when I was doing paper. I said that.
God, now it's taking you 40 hours. Let's hope the electricity doesn't go down.
You're exaggerating.
No, I'm going off the information you gave me. Let's hope the electricity grid doesn't go down this time soon, you know.
Gosh. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? I want to switch this back. And start doing the detail on this. This panel right here. This is an ode to one of my favorite album covers. Matter of fact, let me pull it up over here and show you guys what it is.
King Crimson.
Negative. It's a little band. It's Richie Blackmore's other band besides Deep Purple. little band called Rainbow. Made an album called Straight Between the Eyes. And it's my little ode to that album cover. There it is. Hang on. Image. All right. I just want a picture of it, guys. There we go. Flip it over here. And as you can see, that's what it looks like. Hang on, let me reduce this. That's what it is, and it's an ode to that, you know. Big fan of that album. Big fan of Richie Blackmore's, and that's what I tried to make those eyes look like right there. So that's what that comes.
Did they sing "I Surrender"? Rainbow.
Not sure. My favorite song they've ever done is one called "Stone Cold," and it's on that album right there.
When's it from, that album?
I'm sorry?
When is it from? What years?
Oh, the year? It had to be the 80s. 82.
Yeah, early
82.
Early 80s, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a few albums with... It was a band. He wanted to do something different from what he was doing with Deep Purple, so he started another band. And he had a couple of different lead singers with it. It was just, you know...
Wasn't a guy...
You know how those creative guys are, man. They can't do just one thing. They got to do several. You know,
wasn't the singer or somebody from Whitesnake from Deep Purple too?
David Coverdale? I'm not sure. Let me see.
Was it David Coverdale?
David Coverdale's the lead singer from Whitesnake. I know that. Hang on, I'll find out.
It seemed like somebody in the band was originally with Deep Purple or some shit like that.
He did, yeah. He was also the lead singer of Deep Purple from 73 to 76.
I thought so.
Yep, David Coverdale. Yep, this is him right here.
I like Snake. I thought they were pretty good
I
for
do too.
Hair metal band.
Shit, yeah. Hang on, let's see. Where is it? Oh,
I mean, that guy was banging Tawny.
Tawny Katane. Oh my God, yes, man. Absolutely.
Good God, jump back, kiss myself.
Yep.
Is my girlfriend, fiance, even here? She has been dead silent this whole show.
She is busy listening to us.
I bet she's playing with her cat. I bet she's playing with her cat.
Can I show you some pencil drawing now?
Go for it.
Yeah, let me switch you out with me.
That's what we're here for.
This has got it's in a frame, so it might be a bit reflective, but this is from my current project, which is a story take place in the Second World War. Mm-hmm. And this is a bombed out village I drew that's it's generic, but it's a bombed out village in town in Belgium. Can you see that?
All right. Yeah, we got the reflection on the screen. You got it under glass, it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can barely see it. I mean, but we can see, it's a perspective drawing for sure. Yeah. I see you use a couple of different axes on that. Yep.
All freehand, no vanishing points, just freehand.
Yep.
That's why it's not perfect, but I'm okay with that.
No, it looks fucking fantastic if you're not using any.
I love it.
Points.
Yeah, I can see it. I can actually make out stuff on it.
Yeah.
I just did it all by eye.
Mm-hmm. It looks great, man. Yeah.
I think the eye is better than people give it credit for.
Hello.
Yeah. You see, I'm really proud of this drawing as well. That's why I won't ink it in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep it in the frame.
Yeah.
But I find perspective really easy. I can never work out why people can't do it.
Yeah, I've always been able to do it too. It's just like I want to say this one right here of the boat. The vanishing point would be way off to the right. You know, so you get a feel for it after doing so many drawings.
Yeah, you can draw your lines and everything. There's nothing wrong with that, but I tend to do it freehand first, and I might tighten it up with a ruler.
Right.
But, usually I just leave it because I always think if it looks right, it probably is right, and it doesn't want to be perfect anyway.
No,
I think
no,
people
especially
make-
if you're drawing a bombed out building, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
jagged and everything. So.
People make the mistake when they're drawing buildings, especially what I would call skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
They do a perfect vanishing point, and it doesn't work because it should. I can't explain it, but it should be more organic and just that your eye fills everything in, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, if the perspective isn't perfect, as long as it looks right,
Yep,
then it probably is right.
All right, let's see. What am I working on? I'm on ink. Yeah, look. Let me tell you something. I learned a lot just doing. Gary knows this. I've been doing a show for about 2.5 years where I just to make sure I keep my fingers in this, even when I'm at the busiest points of my life. I do a show about this comic book every week for at least 1 hour on Fridays, and I have learned right away that I have to name these layers, because if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you'll end up doing your black work on the color layer, and you have to go back and either fix it or start all over again.
I can tell you an easy way to fix that. Use a pencil and paper.
Yeah, I know.
So when you do that piece of work that's got 98,000 layers, and you think, "Oh shit, I need layer 47, maybe."
Yeah. I started naming them
instead of writing on trees or cars or whatever, you know. just
I
draw
know,
it.
man. I know, but I'm telling you, I'm so afraid I'm going to mess up my pencils with ink.
Send them to me and I'll do it.
See, that's the thing. Once again, I'm a broke individual. I can't afford to pay for people.
I just said to you before, that's the last thing on my mind. Just let me do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's see what we got here. I know I want to get the lenses done. What pencil am I on?
But then again, I may mess it up, and then you'll never talk to me again.
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. You know, you're confident in what you do, and oh shoot, cancel. Get on the right layer. See, it just told me. Okay. Yeah, I've been doing this every week for a couple of years now. Now, one thing I do like, does your program do this, Gary? When I draw a curve, if I want it to be a perfect curve, I just draw the curve the way I want it, and then I hold it, and it will pop it into place, and then I can move the edge of it around. I know you guys can't see it; it's behind my name right now. But do you have that capability with Photoshop? I'm sure you do.
I've never tried. I just do it the typical way. I treat it like I'm actually working on paper.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. No, I don't like that. Let's go back. Do this. Yeah, drawn on Twitch, you'll see a little bit of a delay. But and then let's see if I can actually fill this in. This is where you actually are able to speed some of your processes up. When you want to fill something in, if it works right, you just pop it like that. And that saves you a lot of time, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And yes, I'm going to take a lot longer to do this than Gary does, because he's been working digitally for a long time. I am just getting started with this stuff. But that's one of the fun things about doing this live on YouTube, Gary. I didn't even know about this glove. And by the way, if you're working digitally, guys, and you don't have one of these things, you have got to get. I don't know what they call these gloves, but it covers your pinky and your third finger.
Yeah, it keeps you from smudging the screen.
Keeps you
while you're
from
working.
touching your screen and messing things up, and it's really useful. And I didn't know about it until like my second or third drawing stream digitally, man, because I guess I was about 30 or 40 episodes into the thing. Because from the ground up, I sat there and I had a camera. You can see back there, I've got a camera on my drawing board, and I was actually broadcasting my pencil sketch, right? And plotting the pages. I've got 2 20-page rags already plotted out. Now I'm working on the inks on it, right? But I didn't start the digital stuff until about 30 or 40 episodes in, right? And when I started doing it, guys, I am working without a net. I have never done this stuff before, and these guys have been suffering through it with me the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every mistake I've made, they've seen it.
By the way, if you want the film of me talking to Jack Kirby, just let me know.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Can
definitely.
you put, Martin, Glenn, can you put information in the private chat that you want shared out with people so they can get a copy of it? Because I think people would really like to see that.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, just a little.
They can contact me on Facebook and stuff like that. I don't have I've got stuff on YouTube, but I've not got a website. Did I tell you the story of my website?
Uh-oh.
I had, for 10 years, I had glenbfleming.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on holiday. And when I came back, the renew had been issued for the domain name.
Yeah.
And I missed it. And when I went on glenbfleming.com, it was a Japanese dating site. Somebody
Oh my God.
So people were trying to contact me for work, and they were getting asked if they fancied if you wanted to go out with some Oriental girls. Can we say that word these days? I don't care. Some Asian, Anyway, I've got it back now, so I'm working on a new website.
That is priceless, man. Good Lord. That's crazy.
And I've bought the domain now for 10 years. So that should just about do me through. So
right. That's
unbelievable, funny. Glenn.
Yeah.
That is funny, man. Good Lord.
Anyway, if you want to get in touch with me about this film, just let me know, and I'll send you. If you pay me, I'll send you one. You got a nice DVD of it.
Yeah, because you sent me one, and I watched that, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, getting to see Jack Kirby in his last days still talk about that was great.
I've also got the book of the visit, which gives you that one.
Jack Kirby. What does it say? Okay. Personal journey. Words and pictures. Nice.
Now you can get that on Amazon, but that's a smaller version. But this is the hardback version.
Yeah. In fact, put your link up on Amazon too for people to get your books and stuff.
Okay. It's got lots of pictures in of me with Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's about 45 pictures in. Talking to him in his studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good, I think.
Very cool. Let me see. You said that's on Amazon?
Yeah. Put my name in Amazon, you get all my books on there.
Okay.
If we can share that link, it'd be great.
I'm gonna get it, buddy.
Thanks,
I'm
buddy.
going there now.
And I've even got in the book, I took Hatch to show him as well, and some of my artwork. And
is it under Glenn B. Fleming?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what you be doing, but you be Fleming.
You be Fleming, that's for sure.
I showed him some of my pencil work as well. And he said to me,
it's the first thing that pops up, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, "You see what I see," which I thought was really great. He said about my work.
Okay, let me first of all, do you have an author's page on here? You should. Yeah.
You should. Just
here we go. Okay. Here's the author's page link. Hang on. I'm going to put them in the private chat. So
yes, I'm waiting for it.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, no problem.
I appreciate it, Joe.
No problem, Bo. I got you.
Thank you. Thanks for getting those.
Don't you tell me it's no problem, mister.
That's the one to his store, the author store front. And then let me get the one for the book he just showed and show you that one. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna.
This is something that I used to hate doing when I was younger, but now I love brushing hair.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I tell you, hair, yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, Glenn, but I drawing each individual strand, that's a lot. I take it and, especially people that have like a sandy colored hair, I'll draw patches of stuff, kind of like what Gary's doing there. You don't fill in the whole thing, but certain parts are going to be darker than others, and you just I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like hatch work. You sit there and just show a shadow for where the hair is causing a shadow and stuff like that.
Yeah. I quite like drawing now. I just like drawing everything. It's a challenge, I'm not saying I don't take an easy way out sometimes, but I just find it a challenge to do it, and it's something that I feel about myself. I want to accomplish something. Yep. I'm not happy with just throwing anything down. I'm not saying I haven't done that, but I'm not perfect or an expert. I'm not an expert on anything. The only thing let me change that. The only thing I'm an expert on is that I'm not an expert.
There you go. You're not an expert.
Gotcha. I just like the challenge.
The only thing I know absolutely is that I absolutely don't know anything.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know anything about anything. See, people said to me, "Am I an expert on Jack Kirby?" Or they think I'm an expert, and I'm not. I'm an expert on the 12 hours I spent with him.
You're also an expert on how much you enjoyed it and expressing how much you enjoyed it. I totally get where you're coming from on that.
I would never be that arrogant to say that I know all about him, because I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm putting in my own chat the link to his book, because I do have a couple of people watching over here. So,
well, thanks for doing that.
I hope everybody's having a good day today. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. What's going on in the chat? Anything, Martin?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep you focused on your drawing. I don't want you to get distracted and chasing squirrels.
There's no audience if you don't interact with the audience.
Right.
I love the audience. I love interacting, especially when Penny and all of our friends are in the chat. We have so many people that we love talking to. Well, I love them. Martin can't stand them. Nothing, Martin? Nothing at all.
I'm busy.
Yeah, busy. I have no time for your bullshit, Gary. Thanks, Martin.
It's something like that.
If you want a really good read that one. Get that one. Rapa Nui, Easter Island. When I went to Easter Island.
Oh,
that's a weird place, man. Because
it's not.
I heard they got damaged. No, it's weird how it came into existence and the people that were there and how they disappeared because they made a mistake. It's something that you saw repeated even in the West with Ireland. They killed everything off and the land wasn't fertile anymore. And so they had to flee.
We can read all about it in that. There's lots of. When I was there, look at this guy. This is what they all look like. Look at that.
Wow.
It's that Polynesian, look.
Yeah, but there's some. That's quite an issue with them. They don't like the fact that. The locals deny that they had anything to do with South America, and it's just been proven that 17% of their DNA is South American. So there you go.
Wow.
I didn't argue with the guy at the time because I thought, well, I'm staying in his house. I don't want to upset him.
Yeah, it's like I hate to tell you that the science doesn't back up what you're saying.
Hello.
But you can read about how I nearly died when I nearly fell off one of the cliffs. started to slide.
I've
out
always
of the cave.
kind of suspected you were a klutz.
I'm not a klutz, no. Because it's not often you're right, Gary, but you're wrong again.
I'm wrong again. Okay.
No, what happened was I climbed up this rock, 300 feet up this rock to this cave, and I went in the cave, and I set up my camera. Thought I'd get a cool shot of me in the cave, framed by the cave entrance with the Pacific Ocean behind me, right? So I set the camera up, put the timer on, and then as I maneuvered towards the edge, I started to slip. And as I nearly, and I've captured it. I've nearly captured my death. So when I'm slipping back towards a 300-foot drop into shark-infested water, right? If I survive the fall,
oh my God, dude!
The camera clicked. The camera clicked and took.
Okay, I want to see this. Hold on.
And it took this photograph.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, dude!
I'm just about to go over the edge, and I
looked at your expression on your face. There was like,
oh shit!
Like that was an oh shit face. Like,
but as I got to the edge, my hands just got a grip and my feet got a grip, and I got back in, took the camera out, and got the fuck out of there quick.
Let me. I got to pull up my camera here so I can, because I've seen that look before. And it's one that I'm quite familiar with, where you are you're like doing something you think is kind of mundane, and then there's suddenly this look of like
you're frozen.
Oh, am I frozen?
No, you're good. You're
not
good.
anymore.
Okay. Because that look on your face, I've had that on my face before too.
Yeah.
Like I was climbing on the outskirts of a dam. And it was precarious. It was a wall that came down and had a little curved lip. And so you have to walk like this along it. And I'm like, I do not want to fall into this fucking water because it's like right under the dam. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd come back up. And I had one of those moments where it was, you just sort of like,
oh shit.
Oh, it's not even oh shit. It's what was that? You haven't completely registered. Oh, am I about to die?
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky when it happens, dude. I love that photo of you, dude. That's great.
That's a good picture of me with the one of them wine.
Hold on, drag him over so he can see. Everybody can see.
Now I'm 6'1".
Wait.
Nobody's dragged him. Okay, I'm doing it.
Wait.
Oh, God damn it.
Right.
You guys will get there one day.
Oh, look at that. Now, I understand that there's been a problem on the island over the last couple of years where they're going deeper in the ground or some shit.
Yeah, well, they go the same. Like I said, I'm 6'1".
Right.
So, and that's 3 times my size. So that's 18 feet tall. And it's 18 feet tall under the ground as well. So it's 36 feet tall, that thing. And this is why it's the one of the, apart from how they built the pyramids, dragging those big 2.5-ton blocks 400 miles to build a pyramid from the quarry. It's the other ridiculous story of they allegedly the Easter Island, Rapa Nui, is 7 miles at its longest point, so from the edge to edge, and they roll these things on logs. No, they didn't. They weigh 60 tons, these things.
Yeah, they would have gone straight into the ground.
Yeah, and then there's another even more stupid theory that they walked them. They had ropes on coming away and they walked them 7 miles, 60 tons, 40 feet high. Yeah.
Sure.
And then what people don't point out is that they sit on these little platforms called ahu, and they're about 10 feet high. So they have to lift this thing up, having rolled it for 7 miles, 60 tons, pulling it with a piece of rope on a log that wasn't squashed by 60 tons. And this is the theory as to why there's no trees on the island, because they use them all to move all these moais 7 miles to the other end of the island. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're mad.
And I should add that there are 821 of these mothers on this island. It's not like they did it once.
Good Lord.
Crazy.
That is nuts.
There's a smaller one. He's only a tiny one. But the same again is in the ground. So, but get that
That's
one.
incredible.
That's on Amazon as well. I think should be. Oh, look at that! He's cheating now. He's using a texture for the shaved bit. That's cheating.
Yeah.
That's not cheating. That's a tool. I mean,
could
if I
sit
knew
here
how to
all
do it, I'd
day.
be doing that too.
I could sit here all day with 2 brushes and spatter,
Yeah.
and that would take 20 minutes. I just
Yeah,
did
it takes you. Well, what's 20 minutes when you're spending 40 hours doing it anyway?
Not to mention cleaning my brushes. And I'm serious. The minute I went digital, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I was like, fuck off. I walked around with black India ink in my fucking fingers.
Oh yeah, you know. Yeah, you constantly have to use your chamois to clean your hair.
My
I know.
Fucking airbrush. I had a $400 Pache generator, or not generator. What do they call them? Blows the air.
Oh, the compressor.
Compressor.
Yeah.
And a $250 Pache airbrush.
Double action, of course.
I would spend probably about $25 a month cleaning and from doing stuff. Yep. My inks, now I have no ink on my hands, no ink all over my desk. I live an ordered life, and it's all digital, and I am so thankful for this, that I don't have to do what I used to do. I'm so grateful. And as much fun as you poke at it, I'm telling you, man, I'd never go back. I would never go back.
Well, that's okay.
I can if I have to.
Oh.
Because I still know how to do all that shit. But I don't want to. I do not want to. Let's see. Shape dynamics. Back on. Good pressure. Sure, the jitter is off. Jitter is off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What is jitter, man? I've seen that in my settings. What is that?
Jitter. Let me show you. Like the angle jitter. Like if you want to rotate a brush.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a good example. Like where I want to get a good mushing in there, like you would with a real brush.
Mm-hmm.
I grab one of my real brushes, like this one here, right here.
Yeah.
And I will do scattering and jittering. And so the size of the jitter depends on, how much expansion you want. But in order to do that, you got to do some other things. Mm-hmm. Angle jitter, just watch this down here.
I'm watching it. Yeah. I'm seeing what it's doing. It's changing.
Watch what it's doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. And then I go back here to scattering. I can spread them out, or I can keep it narrow, depending on what I'm wanting to do. Like if you're wanting to do a full coating, like I used to take a medium-sized brush in order to create like background stuff, jungle, and then I'll start highlighting over it. My dark one, I would use this, and I would have a wide scatter on it like that, because I'd just be all over the place with it. Mm-hmm. And then you want to go back to jitter, and you want to like make sure that rotation is good on that brush, just like you would, because you don't just dab it in one direction. I dab in different directions, and as you do, your brush is spread a certain way, and this emulates that same thing.
I got you.
And what this does, this emulates the spattering I would do by holding a brush, and I'll come back to my camera so I can show you the technique. How do you do this? I always forget how to do this.
Go to settings.
Camera. There we go.
Yeah.
It'll probably freeze up again for a second. But
this is why he spends 40 hours, because he keeps forgetting.
Well, because
he's teaching me something,
talking.
Glenn. Give him a break.
Yeah. Oh, he's giving me grief because he's.
Hey, listen, he never gives me a break.
I introduced you to Dale Dye because I love you so much. So remember, I got you a job, motherfucker.
You did, yeah.
Look out.
I love his work so much. I'm like, I told Julia, you've got to find a way to use this guy. So here's it. I said, but I did say, don't you fucking replace me with him.
Right? Don't you dare.
Oh, by the way,
solid now.
By the way, I've got a message for you about you being replaced.
I'm
Look at this.
So
Let me show you. How do you draw grass? Look at that grass there, right?
Hold on, let me pull you up. There you go.
He got it. He got it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Yep.
That's drawn with a
quill
pen. and a flexi curve.
You know what
Okay,
your stuff
flexi curve,
reminds
okay.
me of? A guy that did a lot of detail. Michael Golden. If you've ever looked at his
Yeah.
stuff, oh my gosh, it's so detail oriented. It's not even funny.
I do a
Yeah.
lot of detail. There's the cover.
I don't put that link out, Monkey. It's already done. I have to finish the book. Is all I got to do.
Yeah.
I'm down to these last pages. Monkey, did I send you the cloud drive so you can actually see all the pages? They don't all have words on them. I did that for a reason because I don't want you guys being able to see the story, but you can see the artwork. If they're really smart, Joe, they'll see the layers and then they'll just turn the word bubbles on.
That's the I you know what? I'm just not going to show them that. I'm like you said earlier. I'm showing them the artwork. They're not seeing any of the lettering when I do it and that kind of thing. They're not going to see any of that.
Monkey, I'll send it to you after the show.
That grass is done with a flexi curve.
Look at that. I love those, dude. That is one of the first really good cheat tools that I ever saw out there for doing curves.
I bought this about 40 years ago.
Yeah, because that's when I first time I saw one of those, it was in the 90s.
And it's broken. It's broken, look. It should
I can see it.
It should go flat, but it doesn't. But I still use it because I only need to do that with it.
Well, you don't have to do the whole thing either.
That's right. So you just
what I found it great for is that I'm drawing curves.
Yes,
on
that's
cars.
the one.
Drawing curves on cars, man. Now I'm going to tell you right now, guys, if you want a really good program for digital inking, and you want to get those curves in there, you want Manga Studio. Manga Studio has that built into it.
That's it. French curves there.
Yep.
Oh.
Now see, those are what I use. What you just had there, those aren't flexi curves. That's what I used in high school and in college. And then in the 90s, someone showed me I've still got all mine. All the circles, got all of them.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, in the 90s, when I went back to real college, because I was in fake college in the 80s, I went to real college in the 90s on the GI Bill.
He says that, it kills me.
I know.
Well, because I wasn't really in college. I was just there to get drunk and fuck the girls. And his roommate never showed up. And he asked me to move in with him in the dorm.
Oh, look at that. You have same tools.
I know, right?
I had that one too. And I got to tell you, man, I did not like that tool. I didn't like it.
See, guys,
I'm still getting
now.
used
You want to
to
talk about cheating? I draw all that shit freehand, man. The grass you did, I wouldn't even use the curve. I'd have done it.
Yeah.
No. I drew it. I drew it freehand, and then I inked it with the flexi curve.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you another trick as well. Another trick. If you want to make a wheel look really good, get all your curves and get it all nice and perfect. And then ink it freehand and just break it up and make it look a bit odd so it's not so perfect.
What's up, Mike? I didn't even see you step in there, bro.
What's up, dude?
Michael,
not much.
Because he's a ninja.
Yeah, I'm going to talk real quickly, and I'll get back to the drawing screen here. Go back to my settings, camera, switch to OBS. There we go.
There you go, bro.
I'm so glad I learned this, so I can.
It's really simple to do, man.
Yeah.
But Mike and I were talking, and I discovered a new app because even though I lost my faith a long time ago, I struggle with it all the time, and so I still pray all the time. And Mike has been putting out a video each week called Learn the Bible in a Year or something like that. The Bible in a Year.
Mike,
Learn the Bible in 24 hours. Oh, that, yeah. This was for Justin Trudeau.
No, I see now.
Exactly. You see it now? There we go. Yeah.
What is this? Oh.
Yes.
Check it out.
These are the books that you can find on his Amazon page.
Nice.
If you want it signing, you can ask me nicely.
Asking nicely. Don't be a pain.
That's right.
Asking-
And don't quit asking because nobody likes an Adolf Quitler.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Fuck off with that joke, Mike.
You see where Gary's doing this black now on that ear. I'd have had that done with the brush in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But he liked to spend 40 hours on every page.
You know what? You know who doesn't complain about my speed? Warriors Publishing.
My mom. Anyway,
Oh shoot! Something wasn't filled in there. Look at that! Boom! Everything went black. No.
you were saying, Gary, about this app.
like Trudeau.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I really like this app. It's called Hallow. And the reason I found out about this app is because of Chris, what's his name? Guardians of the Galaxy, Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
And he was promoting this thing. And so I went to check it out, and I'm like, well, what is this? You know? And it is a Catholic app, so not everybody's going to be interested in it. But I'm really pleased that there's this app out there to help me, you know, through some of my struggles, because I'm uncomfortable going to church, being around people. I don't like groups. And I can do those things now thanks to this, and it's sponsored by, or not sponsored, what do you call it? He's a backer, is Mark Wahlberg, whose family is like huge Catholic family there in Boston area.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I love this app, and I use it daily, and I found it very useful. And even though I'm still struggling with my faith, because I'm what you would refer to as an agnostic, I still believe there's something out there. So
yeah,
You're getting there. You're getting there.
My wife Foxy, her dad, I like to call him the spiritual searcher, because he came up in seminary, and I believe it was, I'm not sure which faith he started with, but if you ask Foxy how many different religions they practiced growing up, they were everything from Baptist, Protestant, Catholic, Mormon. He tried everything, trying to find the, all of these are Christian faiths, but they all have a different doctrine, and he was trying to find the
one that worked for him. Yeah, my dad we were Catholic, but my dad would visit all these different churches, and we went to a Pentecostal church one time, and it was one of the most horrifying experiences of my life.
Yeah, that's
because they started doing the waving around and speaking in tongues. And I got terrified, and I said, "Don't ever take me back there again, Dad. Please don't."
Right.
And then years later,
Anima has to go. So, okay.
Bye, Anima. Fucking anyway. Bye, sweetheart. What was up with that?
Bye.
I don't know. I hope everything's okay.
Me too, because she was like really quiet.
That's because we were, dude. I don't think you understand. When you and I, when you are drawing, you are a different person, dude. You are totally enjoying what you're doing. You're hyped, and she probably didn't want to interrupt you because you're having a good time. I
spoke to her during the show to ask her a question. She didn't respond, so I was like, well, "You heard?" I was like, "Where are you, Ed?"
It's because I'm on the show.
Well, I'm glad you came on, man.
Thank you for asking me. You're kicking me off now.
No, I'm not ever going to regret inviting you on.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Not you guys don't know. I've known Glenn for a while, and I just love this guy.
God, wrong pencil. See, this is the thing. You see how bad that went, and all I have to do is bing bang. There you go. It's fixed.
What are you, fucking gangster? Bing bang.
Bing bang. There it is. Boom. Bing bang boom.
Bing bang boom.
No, I had the wrong pencil out.
Do you know one of the first things I was taught when I started in graphics? I did graphics for 50 years or 40 years, 45 years, whatever it was. And one of the first things I was told, and one of the first things I learned, was this guy. This conversation was nothing to do with me, but I overheard this. Well, didn't overhear it. It was in the studio where I was sitting, and this guy was complaining about this job. And the manager said to him, "It's just as easy to get it right."
Yep.
And that was it.
That's
So
a
from
great
then
line.
that's my mantra. It's just as easy to get it right.
Yeah.
So while you're spending 40 hours on doing your artwork, just get it right. Then you don't have to.
Think
Yeah,
40 hours.
they had a big sign up in machine repair. This is the millwrights at our factory, and it said, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, you're never going to get it done at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's right.
same kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like Mike Collins, Apollo 11 command module pilot. His mantra was, "It won't fail because of me."
Right.
Because that's all he's got. That's all he can control.
That is all he can control. A lot of people.
It wasn't going to fail because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the attitude they all had.
Mm-hmm.
And they got there.
Always give your best.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Look at that. See, sometimes I don't know if there's a gap in there.
The electric's gone out. It's just.
Yeah, blackout.
Or as
But
like
what
to
I got to
say-
do, see, I'll sit here and try and find out what it is when all I have to do is just switch pencils.
See, that's
then
what
fill it
Mike's
in.
doing now. He's got his pencils on his light box. That's brilliant.
Exactly. See, or as I like to say, don't do it half-assedly. Use your whole ass.
Yeah.
Use your whole ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lightbox is what I used a lot on some of the work because when you're doing likeness projects, you can sketch it out, but when you want to start tightening it up to make sure you got it right, Lightbox is the way to go.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've never
Dennis,
used the light box. Like I said, guys, I'm an amateur at this. I've never done this stuff before.
Oh, you got to get a light box. Let me show you something. See this book, this 8 seconds book. This is the book of my dad's jump into Normandy on D-Day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ooh.
This is what happened. Now, my back isn't too.
Oh, that's the book I saw the artwork to. I
Yeah.
fucking love that book.
Yeah. I wanted to do a parachute jump, and you can do this parachute jump into Merville, which is in Normandy, which is where my dad landed. And I thought
Okay.
it would be pretty neat to follow him down there, even though he was, in different situation.
Right.
Yeah,
You've been
anyway,
shot at. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I decided not to do this because of my back. But when I got in touch with the division, the guy, I sent him my book, right? And what he did, he sent it me back. He'd actually put it in his tunic and took it on his jump and got all the stick to sign it.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
And then
Explain what stick is, because a lot of
and it-
people don't know what that is.
it's the unit that's in the plane is called a stick. There's usually about there's usually about 16 troops,
Gotcha.
and that's the stick. And he also got the other stick to sign it as well that wasn't on his plane.
Oh wow, really?
How good is that? So
That is awesome.
It's all signed, and this book has actually dropped into Merville where my dad dropped. Isn't that fantastic? Where the gun emplacement was that he helped immobilize. Isn't that fantastic?
That is
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So
Most definitely.
that's one of my prized possessions.
Yeah, my grandfather was with Patton at the Battle of the Bulge. He was a
wow.
tanker.
Third
Oh,
Armor.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Third Armor Division. So that's awesome.
That was your granddad.
Yeah.
That
I'm Joseph John Rivers III. Every one of us was in the Army.
That makes me feel
Senior
old
was
because
with Patton.
it makes me feel old because that was your granddad. It was my dad who went into D-Day.
Senior was with Patton. My dad, he did time in Fairbanks, Alaska. I was born down here in Louisiana when he was at Polk, the place that they still call to this day Little Vietnam, because that was the main launching point for kids going to Vietnam back then because of the humidity down here. It gave them the closest thing to jungle conditions they could find. And so that's where I was born, in Leesville, down there at Polk. And then
we launched out of Fort Polk for a FTX down there.
Yeah,
and
hot.
I think I told you about that because we had this. I had to, as the medic, I had to explain to everybody what not to touch and what not to do down there. Right. And I the first thing I had to tell you: get in water. Do not believe the old wives' tale that snakes can't bite you underwater. You are actually have a greater chance of being bit underwater.
That's a fact.
Than on land. Mm-hmm. And so don't fuck around down here. They've got moccasins, they got rattlesnakes, and they got a little coral snake. And this scared the shit out of Teddy, this guy in my platoon. And it led to one of the meanest pranks I think I ever did. And he's like, well, how's them saying bite? I'm like, well, because one thing I learned about a lot of my black friends, none of them like snakes. Okay.
No.
Mm-hmm. So they were all kind of freaked out about these snakes, asking me lots of questions about them. And the coral snake kept coming up because that was freaking everybody out because it was one of the most, it is one of the most poisonous snakes in America.
It is, but they're nibblers.
Its venom works like a rattlesnake, not a rattlesnake, the cobra. Mm-hmm. It's neurotoxin and it'll fuck you up. I said, the thing is though, is the coral snake has a very small mouth. And so it tends to bite toes or small areas of skin. If you got a large area, they often have trouble biting.
Yeah. You got to worry about them. They like the warmth of your sleeping bag. They'll crawl in there and they'll nibble on your toes.
Yep. And they like to nibble on your bum.
Yeah. So I told Teddy, I just really kind of went into it with him. I said, yeah, you got to be careful because you'll find them in your fart sacks. You know, you got to make sure you zip all the way up. So next morning, I made sure I was the one to wake him up. And so he's in his shelter half. You know how you split that up between two guys,
right?
Sleeping foot to head, and he's in there, and he is zipped all the way to his nose, and he's pulled the strings tight. So the only thing that you can see is a little tiny hole right where he can actually peek out a little bit, right at the tip of his nose. Okay, and so I got up there and I got a hold of a salamander, and I'm holding it over his head. And right where that hole can see out. And I said, Teddy, wake up. Don't move. Don't move. There's a coral snake right above the hole of your thing. And it'll bite you right on the nose. Don't. And as he woke up in the middle word, as I'm mid-speaking, he somehow unzipped, and was standing up and ripped apart his shelter half to get the fuck away from that thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
One fell swoop. It was like a split second. He was up and out of there. Look at me going, fuck. Is that coming out of his mouth? And everybody's just laughing, and I'm holding the salamander. And I said, man, you really are scared of snakes, dude. It's just a salamander. I threw it at him, and we all went we got chow. That was funny.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, but Fort Polk,
swamps.
That's where I was born at, down in Leesville, and I did my time on Fort Hood, Texas, and a place called Johnston Atoll. I was out there for a year. It's 750 miles southwest of Hawaii. It's 2 miles long, half a mile wide. It was a missile testing platform in the 60s. And the only reason why I know that, guys, is because I woke up one day and looked downstairs, and there was a guy that looked like he had a metal detector in his hand, and he was painting little orange circles on the ground right outside the bungalow building we were living in. And I got my robe on and went downstairs. I said, what are you looking for, man? He goes, oh, we're cleaning up some plutonium for an accident we had on one of the missile testing platforms. And this was in 1985, guys. 20 years later, they're cleaning this up, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, I was lucky I didn't leave there sterile. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I heard recently in the news, they're talking about using that island again. Right now, the only way to get there is by boat, because I'm sure the runway is grown over by coral, because this is, like I said, an atoll, if you don't know what that is, it's the top of a dormant volcano, and they build it up with coral around it. And yeah, they've leveled all the buildings in '97 when they mopped up our operations out there. I was guarding chemical weapons for a year. It was all blister agents,
So
nerve
MPs
agents,
actually have a
mustard
function.
gas, stuff like that.
So you do more cool stuff than just harass soldiers. All right.
Exactly. No, dude. Yeah, dude. They kicked me off the planet for a year.
Yeah,
The reason why I didn't have
priorities.
the reason why I didn't have a 20-year career like my Joe Senior and Joe Junior is because I had heard through the grapevine that if you went to PLDC, got your NCO status, and you didn't knock somebody out while you were there, you were going back there eventually to lead troops. And I was like,
Really?
you know what?
Why?
No, once is enough. Screw this.
I don't understand that.
You
What's that about?
right.
You know,
But-
speaking of jeopardy, my dad jumped out of a C-47 on D-Day, and they were supposed to jump out at 2,000 feet. But as you'll all know, the higher you are, the slower you seem to move over the ground, the more of a target you are, right? So they flew at 500 feet, and the parachute just had barely opened to break his fall. It took him, that's why it's called 8 seconds, because it took him 8 seconds to get out of that door on the plane onto the ground. But the jeopardy was, what the paratroopers didn't know, that Rommel had flooded the fields, and my dad nearly drowned because he thought he was going to land on the ground, but he landed in the water, which is 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's really cold. And he had all his kit, and it sank down about 5 feet in this flooded field. And then when he managed to cut the risers and get his knife and cut the risers, the canopy fell on top of the water. So he had to get. So all this shooting's going on, all these planes are crashing, and all these guys are being killed coming down, and he thought he was down, and he hit the water. So he had to get out of the water as well. And he's 19 years old, and he's not started fighting yet, and he's piss wet through, and he's got all his gears wet, and he's nearly drowned. You know. So,
this reminds me of the story told about the 82nd Airborne, who went in country, and I storyboarded the entire film for Del Die. The book is called No Better Place to Die, and it's about that bridge. I forget the name of the bridge now, and they had to hold that bridge and stop the Germans, and it ended up being just these guys, 82nd Airborne versus 3 Tiger tanks, trying to keep them from doing it. And I'm not sure, because it's been a long time since I did this, but I think the fields there were flooded. And so the tanks were forced to not go across the fields. And that's where Rommel screwed up, because he narrowed his own pathway to this one bridge because of the flooding. So that's interesting, because I'm certain that your granddad, sir, or your dad, it's your dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad probably was in that same fucking battle.
It may have been, I don't know. He went
I'll
all
have
the
to
way
look it up. I'll ask Dale.
He went all the way up to Denmark, and kept. They were my dad's unit, my dad and his unit, what was left of them, because they lost 2/3 of them on the initial jump. When they got up to Denmark, they were dancing and hugging and being friends with the Red Army, and then Churchill. Our intelligence got wind that the Russians were going to annex Denmark, and they were told to turn the guns on them. And the Red Army got the same sort of intelligence that was going on, and they literally backed off and aimed their tanks and guns and whatnot at each other. And they'd just been singing and dancing and drinking because they defeated the Germans, and so that's because Stalin wanted them to continue and take Denmark. So. You know, it's never a dull moment, is it? You know?
Never a dull moment, for sure. And
then after the Second World War, my dad joined the Indian Army and taught their paratroopers. And the funny thing, I don't know, he's dead now, but I never got a chance to ask him. But I get the suspicion that my dad did about 350 parachute jumps in all, but he never landed in a plane. Because whenever he went up in a plane,
he went up in a plane but never landed in it.
Right.
I love
he
that,
always
dude.
jumped out of the thing, you know. So, but here's a scary story. my dad's commanding officer, Otway, and he, in his biography, he wrote that when he jumped out the plane after my dad, right? He was in the same plane.
Mhm.
And then he went, so it's 500 feet above the ground, right? 500 feet. And a plane, a C-47 flew underneath him as he went down.
Wow.
500 feet. And he's going down, and a plane flew underneath him. So you can imagine the chaos that was going on.
Oh, God.
They must have been crashing into each other and chopping each other.
We're talking D-Day, right? Yeah.
Oh,
that's insanity going on that
Let me
day.
save this real quick here. I just realized we're over 2 hours. We got to end this show, but I'm going to show you. Let me look to see. Go to projects and see if it's in here. Warriors. In here. OneDrive. There it is. No better place to die. This is the entire film, by the way. This is all the artwork I did, but
did they make the film?
No, it's still in production or
Right.
pre-production. Tom Hanks is one of the executive producers. Gary Sinise is involved.
Wow.
I understand Ted Danson got involved, but he may be too old now because this started in 2014. People go, why isn't it done by now? It's like, look, man, no better place to die. It's over 10 years and it's still not made. You know, I'm blessed that I'm able to finish things because shit happens. One of the things that happened bad for me with like Vindicated is the writers, and I love the writers. They're good people, but man, they were not understanding my story outlines. I write an entire story outline, and I just assume people are going to understand me. And it's not the fact. This is it right here. This is one of my favorite pieces right here that I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I find if a writer isn't
these are people jumping out blurred.
Yeah.
Right.
And look at all the shit that's going on around them. There's for every tracer you see, there are anywhere from 2 to 4 rounds you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Because it's usually every 3rd or 4th round has a tracer.
Yeah.
The tracer's there for night fire. That's what they're there for, to get you on target. You can use them during the day too, mind you, if you're not aiming down your sights, but instead using the rounds to hit a target. And they do splash, by the way. Anybody who's been on live fire and watching like a 50 or a 30 caliber machine gun firing down the lane, and you know, once that thing starts going down range, you're sitting on top of it, and you can't look down the sights. And so what you're doing is you're looking where it's hitting with the tracers, and you're moving the tracers to your location. And this night, all these little blur spots you see here in this painting, those are all people. And people think, oh, they die, they go out like every few seconds. No, they go out one right after the other. It's a constant movement like a snake. And it's what's scary is I actually had to do the artwork that shows a guy, his main line doesn't let go and he gets stuck and he's being pulled into the back rudder. And he's got to get loose. And worse than that, they have a plane right behind him. And he's got to avoid hitting that fucking plane when he's finally get loose. Oh, this story, it's a great book. It's called No Better Place to Die. Read this fucking book. Read Glenn's book on his dad. These are great stories about the shit that happened. Everything wasn't on the fucking beach. There was a lot of combat going on in country. So there we go, guys. Let me close this. I'm very proud of that work I did. So I guess we'll wind this up. And Glenn, thanks for popping in, man. It's so good to fucking have you on here, man.
Thanks for the invitation.
And Joe, thanks for coming on and doing your artwork. Let's show
always,
what you're
bro.
doing. Check that out. That's what he's doing there.
That's
And-
the first page of the Privateer. That's the opening salvo.
Woo-hoo!
Name of the book is Opening Salvo. Is the name of it. So
U.S. Coast Guard.
Yep.
And people
that is the
think
U.S. Coast Guard. That's an actual ship that I depict there. It's called the USS Dolphin. It's based out of Florida.
And I got to tell you, man, I know just as many guys in the Coast Guard that have been in combat as I do guys.
A lot
that
of
served
people
in
forget
combat.
about the Fifth Service. They do. Yeah.
They absolutely
Hey,
do,
boss,
man.
check the private chat, please.
And there's of course Mike's work, private chat.
Yep.
I am trying so hard to get the aesthetics of Asian artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, it can be hard, but I think I'm nailing it a little bit.
Asian artwork.
Well, yeah. What I'm planning on doing for a book, because I don't want to put too much out. It has to do with a lot of cultures and a lot of cryptids and a lot of mythology.
Oh, cool.
So right now, doing something from Korea right here. So yeah,
very cool.
Very, very cool.
Very cool.
Yes.
Good to see you.
So the
John.
light box, guys, I take it this is some kind of box that makes it easier to trace a sketch from another sketch. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I did, see, a couple of years ago, I managed to get light
for the
box.
cheat.
Yeah, I know, right?
No,
I
it's not
managed to get
cheap.
light. Nah,
It's a tool.
I managed to get a light box from this doctor, $20, right? And you know, of course, it's like big and thick and had a handle on it and everything like that. And I'm like, well, this is like, you know, pretty cumbersome, right? To like put around and whatnot. But
That's a lie. Hold on, guys. I need to talk to you. That's a lie. I told him that the main backer on that, which was about $5,000, never paid. The only guys who got fully paid were the writers, and they never delivered. So I ended up having to write the script myself, do all of this on vapors while I was unemployed and raising my daughter full time. No other parent. It was just me. He's making this out to be something, and it's ridiculous. And the fact is, I'm making the book available to show people all the folders on the cloud of how many pages are done. And I showed a lot of them here. But I asked people not to share them if I give it to the link privately, and to not turn on the dialogue button so you don't know all the fucking dialogue.
Right.
But the fact is I have a debilitating fucking spine disease that has knocked me for a fucking loop. I've been unemployed. I am homeless. I never talk about this. I am homeless.
Yeah.
Okay? I can only work so long during the day, about 3 hours to 4 hours. And then I have to stop due to pain. And I can't. I'm talking about pain in my neck to my right arm because my C2 sits in front of my C3. I am filing for disability, but I have no income right now past the little bits I get here and there. And the amount of money he's saying I got, I didn't get.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. He wouldn't listen to me, so I had to block him. People either talk to you or they want to fucking yell at you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have people yell at me. Not going to have it.
Yep.
You know, just want to shout at me. And right now, there's just a handful of guys out there fucking hating on me. But anybody who fucking knows me knows that's not true. And Gap, you're a person I like a lot. And I'm just telling you the facts. That I've been working on this book for over 10 fucking years. It's an emotional adventure for me. And I got so fucking depressed. I stopped drawing for 5 years. Anything.
Well, I am glad you're drawing now. I can tell you that,
And
buddy.
if it weren't for Anima Confusa, my fiance, I might have stopped drawing for people and doing stuff like this completely until I died. Because I'm old. You know, I'm already on my adventure to my 70s, and I don't expect to last past 75. So this is probably going to be the very last book I ever do as an artist, because I can't do it anymore. I physically can't do it. I can only do it for so long, and then I'm stuck. And yeah, that's 12 years of my fucking life. I lived with this, trying to get the emotions back up to get back into it, because I had writers that fucking didn't listen to me. I had to go back and rewrite the whole thing myself. Writing is not a fun thing to do for me.
No.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is not fast and natural for me. Writers, real writers, they can fucking zap out a fucking script. It took me about 4 fucking years to write this script to get it where it was supposed to be. And do you know who I went to help me on these things? Chuck Dixon, Mike Barron. They read my script. And once I got the approval from them, I knew I had something. And I'm like, I got to go back and piece this back together. And I had to go back, delete pages, redraw some pages a different way. I had to get, this has been some people call this a fucking nightmare, but I'm so in love with Vindicated. And his comment about me taking advantage of disabled veterans, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
A majority of my fucking friends are disabled vets.
Hello.
I'm disabled myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, Gary,
Gary,
you don't have to explain anything, man. Those are just people that hate you.
It upsets me, man. It really does.
You know,
don't let it. Don't let it. We've had a great stream.
About somebody, because you know what? Not one of them approached me privately to talk to me. How are you doing, man? Mm-hmm. Are you having a tough time? Is everything okay? They don't care.
No,
they don't care. So why should I care what they're saying about
That's right. You shouldn't. And that's my point.
And I don't. The people that know me, and by the way, Gap, I will give you the link so you can go look at these pages I'm working on. And I will be done with this book. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I'll be done with it finally this summer.
Yeah.
This has been a fucking labor of love. And for somebody to shit on something that matters so much to me fucking makes me angry.
Yeah.
And he'll get his fucking book, but I'm not signing it. Or if I do it's a generic signature. You know,
auto pin.
I make it
auto
personal
pin. Ultimate install. Auto pin.
And don't think for a second, Gap, that I don't think about the people that I owe this book to and any of the other perks that go with it. My future son-in-law is the one that's going to be doing the 3D printing for me. When this book is done, and it will be done this summer.
Yep.
And Glenn, you've never heard me ever get upset. I apologize, my friend.
This is what I don't take any of this personally against you.
Yeah.
No, man, don't.
No, I'm explaining to Gap because I know Gap.
I mean, I'm saying the Gap. I'm saying the Gap.
Yes, because Gap is misinterpreting. He thinks that you are talking against him, and that is not the truth.
He's talking.
Oh, I would never not like you anymore, Gap. I fucking love you, man. Are you kidding me?
Nah.
Okay, if I may, I know the story behind the whole thing.
Yeah, I told you. Martin is involved with me very personally, by the way, guys.
I'm a backer of the last campaign. I have seen Gary against my will. He had sent me pages. I said I don't want to see anything because I don't want to spoil the surprise. He didn't care. He sent me pages. I have seen the comments.
Because I feel like I got to prove to people that I'm not full of shit in some sort of.
I have seen the word.
Not a con man. What's the word I'm looking for? Grifter.
A grifter.
People that say that about me, man.
But
I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this book.
Yep.
I know. It is not my place. But I think it's for people who really likes you, but people in our audience that they are not aware of the full story and the tidal wave of shit that is behind it. I can understand they may be having feeling of confusion and.
Well, I'm not communicative enough. This is a problem I have.
Yes, I would like for you.
I'm wearing so many hats that I've wanted to ask you to step in and do that for me, because I'm wearing so many hats already, and I get so frustrated that I'm terrible because I'm an introvert. I'm terrible at communicating with people, and I'd love it if you would step in and work with me as my communication person. By the way, I am taking my 4th injection of Ozempic right now.
Yay! No.
Yeah.
Ozempic.
Ozempic.
That's it.
You know.
You know.
And that song has been permanently ruined for me.
Oh my God, yes.
Feeling
And
the
it's a great
fat
song.
melting away.
Yeah, it's Magic by Pilot,
Yep.
and it's just a great fucking song.
See, there you go, Martin. You got a new position. You're public liaison officer.
There you go.
No,
Oh
he's
my
just
God,
the person. No.
of all
He
his
doesn't
bad
have to
decisions,
answer
that is the
questions.
worst ever.
I will never put him in a position of having to answer questions. I'm going to put him in a position of just posting things for me. But I want to make sure. Please don't be hurt by what I say, Gap, because I love you. Is Gap even here? Are you still here, Gap?
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
sure he's
hope.
here.
I hope.
I hope so.
Because
I hope
Gap
he's
is
here.
a great fucking person. And
Gap's the coolest.
yeah, and I wish Gap would come on the show. But Gap just gets in the chat and
I know. I miss him. I haven't seen him around lately, and I know you've been sick,
it's
Gap.
just-
So I hope you're doing better, man.
is that what's going on? Because he's never
Yeah.
around sometimes, and I'm always wondering where the heck he's at. Same
Yeah.
thing with Monkey, because I just assume Monkey's busy doing
Mm-hmm.
his work because he had to take on some extra work because he had some serious financial trouble, man.
Yeah.
Well, next Monday, we're going to have to talk about our approach to the books, because I know this is graphic novel style for you, right? How many pages are we talking
graphic novel. I can't do comic books.
about?
They tried to get me to do comic books, and I did one
Mm-hmm.
for Blue Water Comic, and I said I'm only doing the first issue.
Yeah.
They're like, what is your problem with doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And comics, why can't you? I said I don't like the 22-day turnaround.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too stressful, and I have anxiety issues that I never thought that I would be crippled by.
Mm-hmm.
And I have social anxiety and regular anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I manage it is by hyper focusing on work or things that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and or on people. I hyper focus on people. God
Well,
bless.
the reason why I said I know we're fixing to
Get
wrap
this.
up.
Get this, Gap. If you don't have it, get your doctor to give you this.
Yeah, there you go.
I am able to measure my blood sugar throughout the day.
What?
I get alerts. Like right now, for some reason I haven't eaten anything today. I'm at 193. And what I discovered is the more stress I have, the higher my blood sugar goes. And so Anima was talking about that yesterday, or day before yesterday, that blood sugar is impacted by stress.
Yeah.
And so, because God, Don Ecker, I didn't know this about Don Ecker, by the way. I've been friends with him for years. Never knew I knew about his other disabilities, never knew he was diabetic. He never said anything. So we had this beautiful conversation last week about using monitors to watch your sugar. It really helps. Absolutely, Gap. Talk to your doctor. This one is the G7 Dexcom G7. It's covered by my state insurance, and I have Blue Cross Blue Shield through the state, and it's better than the VA. I got to tell you, in Missouri has one of the best health programs for people who are what are we called? Indigent? Is that the word I'm looking for, Glenn? You're one of those big word guys.
I don't know.
You're British. I thought you knew everything. You Brits are so smart.
No, I told you, I only know that I don't know everything.
That's right. I love that. But I'm telling you, Gap, the Dexcom G7 is one of the best monitors I've ever seen. I've tried the other one, not as good. It's not as accurate. The problem with these monitors, and this is why you need to still finger stick. I hate doing it because my fingertips get sore from it. So I don't do it very much. I do it about 3 times a week. I do a blood glucose check with my reader, and it tells me how far off my G7 is reading, because it's not reading the blood sugar the same way it would if you were drawing blood. It's reading it through the blood by being in your fat tissue. And that's why you can only put it where you have collections of fat. Back of the arm, your stomach, or your thigh. They never recommend the butt because you sit down a lot.
I'd put it near my belly button.
Now, I tried it on the thigh, and I got a bruise this big on my thigh right now. Because I was reading up on how to do that. I went, okay, so I tried it. And it had a fountain of blood that came up through the middle of the reader. There's a little hole there. And his blood just kind of came up out there. I went, that's not normal. So I cleaned it up, dabbed it, and they said if it stops bleeding, don't worry about it. But within 4 days, it was just black and blue. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pulling this one out. And so I pulled it out after 4 days, and I'm going to stick to behind the arm. This is the best place. And what I do is I can only do it on my left arm. So I rotate from here to here to here to here and do that. Every 10 days, I move it to the next spot, and I rotate that way. Because I tend to lay on, because of my neck problem, I can't lay on my left side. If I do, all my limbs go numb. My arms, both arms. So I have to lay on my right side because the nerve isn't as impacted on this side as it is on this side from the misalignment of my spine.
Yeah, you got to take care of the neck for sure, man. I mean, I was watching a story about Lex Luger the other day, and just what happened. He slept wrong on a plane, and that's how he ended up.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. You can actually just turn your head and blow your neck out. Just turning to look at something and it blow. People don't understand how sensitive your neck is. And when my doctor came in, Glenn, you'll like this. It was a military vet doctor I had. He had one of these voices. He came walking in, he goes, yeah, I just looked at your back and your neck. Yeah, your spine is fucked. And I'm sitting there like,
I thought we were going to have to snap it.
Have you tried a chiropractor?
Well, I was going to see. No, I was seeing the actual doctor version of that, osteopathic manipulative doctor, the one who actually gets in there and works with your spine. My God, I made some headway to where I had better movement because I can only turn my neck this far.
Right.
This one I can turn further. This one, that's it. It's a lock right here, and it just grabs.
You get a acupuncture.
You know that rolling thing you do, try to roll your neck and stuff?
Yeah.
Even since I was a kid, I knew I was in for something. There must have been something wrong because even as a kid, I could roll my head back this way, but I couldn't roll it this way, and it stops right there. And I can feel it. It hurts. It just shoots a sharp jabbing pain up the left side on the right. I don't get it.
Gary, since you brought up blood sugar, I have got to go up mine a little bit. I got to eat.
Oh, you got to? Okay, buddy.
Yep. You take it easy, and I look forward to drawing with you some more, bro. It's fun.
I want to do this fun. Even once I finish the book. I want to do this every Wednesday instead of movies. Wednesday, I would like to be drink and draw. Well, I will do a logo for it and get together with all my artist buddies because I love you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. We need to do it.
I hate it when you succeed and I'm not getting anything.
All right, I got to go. You be good. See you guys.
You too, man. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Well, you bring up stretching, Monkey. Before we go, I'm trying to find a yoga place. There's nothing here. I live in the middle of bumfuck Egypt in Sparta, Missouri. Look it up on a map. Sparta, Missouri. Look it up. It's like you blink, you miss it. It is one of those podunk middle of nowhere towns, but it's great because it's quiet. And once the internet was resolved, we now have really good internet here. We're using satellite internet because that ground internet, the wire cable, not working, man. It's garbage. And so now we're satellite, and it's a lot better. And it's important for me because, like, for Julia, when she wants something from me, Glenn, you've already got to taste this. When she wants something from you, she lets you know I need that. She won't give me a deadline. She doesn't give me a deadline. She gives me kind of a roundabout.
Yeah,
Then she messages, "I need that by," and I'm like, "Okay."
That's exactly what she did last week. I said, "Oh, by the way, when's the deadline on?" This was last Monday afternoon.
Right.
And she said, and I said, "By the way, when's my deadline on this?" She said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, Saturday." And I had 12 maps to do. but I did them by Friday morning. I got on with it. I'm telling you,
you're gonna love working with her and Dale.
They're
great. Two of the greatest people on this planet. I have zero stress when I'm working with her. The only stress I had was recently because we were dealing with my buddy John Del Vecchio, New York Times bestselling author, with this, and I'm working on his new cover. And all of a sudden, he wanted to make changes to the artwork. I said, "No, I'm not getting paid for any new artwork. I don't get paid for this. This is up of what I got paid to do the painting the first time. So it's that painting, and I can add to it, or I can take away." But I can't do a whole new, and I had to call him and tell him, don't give me edits that basically is a new painting. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. And I love John. John's one of the most wonderful people. My greatest tease of him, Glenn, is I told him one time, I said, "You're one of the most verbose people I've ever met." I'm not saying you're like terribly verbose, but I'm telling you that it takes you 4 hours to explain 60 minutes.
That's Stephen King country.
Yeah, and he's like, and my God, he's probably one of the most knowledgeable men I've ever met, John Del Vecchio.
Well, you say it takes him 4 hours to explain 60 minutes. Well, I'd say I would come back if you said that to me. I'd come back to you. Well, it takes you 40 hours to do a page.
You can go fuck yourself, buddy. I love you, Glenn. I like that you give me shit. We're co-workers now, man.
Yeah.
And if you ever need anything from me, you let me know. I will be glad to help you on stuff. I'm glad that you and I work for the same boss now.
Yeah. Well, if Dale wants to take his connections to Tom Hanks and everybody with my dad's book, I'm up for it.
Right. Drawing is easy to do when you've got the magic of the imagination.
That's right. Yeah. You don't
I would say this.
It's called talent.
I have a problem sometimes with something, because I will go at something and I will draw something out when I'm doing it. And this is part of blocking, because I also think like a director, a film director, because I'm doing a movie when I do these books. Yeah. And then I'll look at it and I'll have it almost done and I'll go, fuck, I don't like this. I don't like what I did here. I got to reblock this. And that means I got to redraw it. And I'm okay with that. But that's one of the things I've run into with me is I think I know what it is that I want. And then when I see it, when it's done, it's not what I wanted.
Oh, God, yeah, I know. I hate that. Oh, that drives me nuts.
Well, I want to ask Glenn, because I think Glenn is a more brain-to-hand person than I am. And have you ever started drawing and then you're like, this isn't right? This isn't what I wanted?
Yeah, but what I generally do is work it out on the thumbnails and the sketches and the roughs. So when I'm putting it down, it's like the film director. He gets it storyboarded and he knows the way he wants to go.
Well, that's what the roughs are.
And you can improvise. I'll show you.
Because I do them too.
I'll show you a perfect example of a rough to finished. Just hang on a second. I will show you wherever it is.
You still never ended up with a piece of artwork that at the end you weren't happy with because you felt you should have done it in a different way.
Oh yeah, I think all my stuff's rubbish. There's a rough to finished artwork. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a great example of roughs. Over on the left, it's just rough sketch. It's a rough sketch, generalized. I love this. This is a great example. I mean, I could see even where you changed with what you're doing with the foot, where you became prominent in the final artwork of the foot and with the radiating ouch.
Yeah.
I like that. Great example of how to do a rough
I work it out on this one and then produce this one. And then when I finished it, I look at it a week later and think, no, that's no good. But I don't do it again because I think I've done it once. I'm not doing it again.
Absolutely. And by the way, I want to say something about John O'Staines. Put him back up there. That guy understands that my struggle, that I don't get work, that I've been unemployed since 2008, since Obama killed the economy. Well, he didn't kill the economy. Bush killed it but he didn't revive it, didn't do anything to save it. And as an artist, you know, creatives are the last to get hired and the first to
last
get
to get paid. Last to get paid.
And when you get when you freelance, man, you better luck sometimes just praying for something to fall on you.
Yeah.
And John O'Staines is like, just sent me money out of the blue. And I'm like, dude, what's this for? And I said, do you need something from me? He goes, no, I don't want anything from you, man. And John O'Staines is just one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. Everybody should friend that guy, John O'Staines. And I miss you when you're not in the chat on the UFO stuff, John. I wish you could start watching the show. But God bless you, John. People don't give you enough credit what a good dude you are. I'm serious. I was in a low point, and I don't ask for people's help. He just, like, out of the blue, it was like God willed him.
I'm not sure what that means.
He experienced all his life. Glenn. Well, what I love is his last name, because somehow you are related to Ian Fleming. You have to be.
He's keeping that secret.
Bye, Gab. Take care. God bless you.
Yeah, man.
Bye, Gab.
And
Please
thank you
be
again, Joe.
well and take care of yourself.
And I want to say that to everybody here. So before we go, you finish, Glenn.
I was going to say, if I answered that I was related, you wouldn't believe me. And if I said I'm not, you wouldn't believe me.
There's no way you're not.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's just not going to respond.
In this world,
in my opinion, with the way I understand surnames, I don't believe in that small fucking country there's any way you're not related, because you guys are the size of Illinois.
My ancestors came over in 1066, nearly 1,000 years ago, with William the Conqueror.
Right.
And they were from the Flemish part of Europe, which is what is now northern Belgium, southern Netherlands. And apparently they were a pretty tough group, and they acted as they were paid as mercenaries. And they came over with William the Conqueror. And when he conquered England, or whatever it was called then, Gaul or whatever it was called, Britain.
I did a book on this, the graphic novel.
Yeah, the Bayeux Tapestry thing. Yeah.
Bayeux Tapestry. One of the toughest but best jobs I ever did.
He gave his troop, when they conquered, they gave a lot of the troops an option to either go back or stay. And my line stayed. And he gave them land and all this kind of stuff. And so that's either 1,000 years.
England is a mishmash of French, Flemish, Belgian, German.
Yeah.
Because I tell people all the time, the current crown that's the Germanic side of the family.
Yeah.
And because that was from what's her name, Matilda, when she got into that war with King Stephen, and he was technically a usurper, but the people loved him because he was kind, benevolent king, and he's very popular. Because of that, the war wasn't very popular, and so they finally struck up a treaty that he was not allowed to have an heir take the throne. And the deal was that when he dies, the crown goes to Henry Plantagenet, her son. And that was the French side. That was the French, or the German French side of the family for a while. But 1066, I've always said, especially after doing the book, I said that was kind of the end of the last real English king.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know that sort of the side of the history, but yeah, I could believe that. Yeah,
I think that's because he was true English when he took the throne. But I want to point out that so many things happened, because the battle was at Stamford Bridge that took place like 2 weeks before the battle with William.
Hastings, Battle of Hastings.
Yeah, the Battle of Hastings. 2 weeks before that, they fought the Battle of Stamford Bridge against the Vikings, who invaded, and during the battle, they killed King Harold Hardrada, the last Viking king. He was the last Viking king, killed during that battle, and then he marched his men, and people were falling out. His army was starving. They were broke, and that's why they lost the Battle of Hastings. Is they had lost their steam, and they got into that fight, and the archers just kicked their asses. They both had archers, but William's archers were
the archers are the artillery of that time, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and people don't know. But a lot of mixed things. What I showed in the book is what I actually do believe happened is that he got nailed with the arrow going into his eye, but it went in at an angle, so it didn't pierce his brain or the brain stem. So he broke or had the arrow broke, and he continued fighting, but didn't fight for very long because they were overwhelmed. And what they did to him was just disgusting physically. I know he was torn apart. And buried
drawn and quartered.
Yeah, he was torn apart and buried in different places. He never got a proper funeral.
Shall I tell you a funny story about King Harold?
Yeah,
a joke.
Love to hear
This is a joke.
Okay.
The day before the Battle of Hastings, Harold is with his general, and he says, "Right, show me what all these men do." He says, "Well, these guys here, they've got this metal rod. It's called a pike, and what they do is they hold this pike, and the enemy horses will impale themselves on it, and then they get the sword and they stab them and they kill them." He says, "Oh, that's brilliant." He says, "What do these guys do?" And he goes all the way through the army, and he gets to the archers. This guy explains what he does through the army, their job. And he gets to the archers, and he says, "These are the archers. What these guys do is they fire these arrows high in the air and they drop on the enemy and kill them all. It's great. It's brilliant. It's a new way, new tactic in warfare. It's fantastic." And as he's walking along, one of these archers, he's pissed, he's drunk, and he's got his bow and arrow and he's doing this with it. And Harold says to his general, "Watch that guy. He'll have somebody's eye out tomorrow."
I didn't know where you were going with this. That was a great ending. Oh, I love that. All right. Let me say my thanks to the audience here. Low Spec Linux Gaming, thanks for coming. Monkey Jeeves, love you, brother. I'm going to hit you up and Gap. Remind me, Martin, right after the show to send them Gap After Dark and Monkey so you guys can see the book and the work in progress.
Wait, I think you're starting the list from the middle.
Oh, yeah, way down. Sorry. Let's see. Mephisto, of course. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Mikey Sue's 4, Slasher Fred, John the Beagle Dad, Penny, Gambit, Real Wed Nation, Coffee Run, Bill Barkley. He's a Scotsman, so don't try doing an accent, Glenn. He'll shit on you. Low Spec Linux Gaming. Yeah, that's the thing about Scottish. No matter how good your accent or how bad it is, doesn't matter. They're all shite. Let's see. Bullet.
No, those are comments.
Yeah, Tom Baker, Snorted Poopus Cuber, John Ostains, love you, John. Rancor Steve is a good fucking friend. I love that guy. Yeah. Vince Womack, and you guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody being here today. And when I get emotional, I want people to know that that's not me hating or being angry. That's just me being emotional, because I'm always calm, right? I'm always calm. But you can get emotion out of me. And when I'm talking about my projects, they're my children. And when you talk about me and my children, I get emotional. I don't know if you understand it, because I understand you English people are very cold and icy emotionally.
That's not true.
Well, I heard on the internet.
Yeah,
it must be true.
You're emotionally aloof.
No. Well, I'm not. I don't know about
no, I look, man. I don't I feel that way. I think you're just a wonderful dude, and I'm glad you dropped in, dude. You made this show so great today. I love it, man. And thank you, Mike, for being here too. And I want to thank Joe. He had to go. Hello, Joe.
All I wanted to do was talk with Anima, and she didn't say a word.
Not a word.
Yeah,
I know. And by the way, your wife is so beautiful. You're like me, got really lucky. And it's awesome when you get lucky.
They got lucky.
What? They got lucky. They got lucky. All right. I love you guys. Everybody have a God blessed day, or just a blessed day if you don't believe. And we're going to get out of here, guys. I want to thank you all for being here. And until the book is done, this is what we're doing. Except for Keith's show. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Because he's that what is it, the 800-pound gorilla?
Yeah.
So see you guys on Wednesday. And and the Chief, he does what he wants. The Chief and Keith do what they want.
No, wait. Chief is not coming this week.
Oh, that's right. Another week of vacation. So yeah, no show tomorrow.
Oh, wait,
what?
I thought we were doing.
Are you going to want me to do this tomorrow?
Oh, if you're up to it.
I mean, it's a fun thing.
Sure, fuck it. If other artists will show up, man, I want to do that, and I want to continue doing this drink and draw even after I'm finished with the book. I think that's fun. Yeah. Hanging out with other artists. Booze. Well, we should be drinking beer while doing this. Mike, do you drink at all?
Drunk drinking? Let's do it.
Okay, Glenn, do you drink?
I drink wine. Yeah.
I am a big fan, and you never ordered this in Ireland, of the Black and Tan.
Oh yeah, no, don't say that.
No, I've got an English buddy of mine, Ricky Checker from the East End of London. He served in Ireland, Northern Ireland. Yeah. And he went on a trip and he stopped in a pub and he asked for a Black and Tan.
Oh.
And it was like one of those, the piano stops playing and all talking stops and everybody turns and looks at him kind of moment. And he's like, oh, what I'll do then? I'll do something. And bartender made it for him. And when he put the drink in front of him, he says, finish that drink and leave. Don't ever order a Black and Tan in an Irish pub again, mate. And he was like, okay. And he left. And he went back to the barracks and told the guys. And they're like, oh, mate, don't do that. Are you out of your fucking mind? No, Black and Tans is evil in Ireland. He's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to end the show now. Take good care. See you, I guess, tomorrow. All right. Same bad time. Same bad channel. Bye, guys.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante.
I hate it when I hit the wrong fucking button. Hey, thanks for modding, man. I appreciate it, man. That thank you is for Vince